seeing their team at home in a 12-game homestand, and tonight they conclude a 3-game series against the Toronto Blue Jays. 2 weeks ago in the American League East, Boston, Toronto battling at the top. The Yankees trying to stay out of the cellar. Since then, virtually everyone except the Yankees in the division has been losing. Boston and Toronto still remain on top, but the Yankees find themselves just 4 games out. ESPN's Wednesday Night Baseball from Yankee Stadium. Hello, everybody. Gary Thorne, Dave Campbell. Great to have you with us, and there is, Dave Campbell, a ring of excitement here.
There really is. A week ago Monday, we televised the game, Yankees and Boston Red Sox. New York was losing 5-0. They came back. 2 home runs from Jesse Barfield, 1 from Mel Hall, and then another one from Mel Hall against Jeff Reardon, dramatic in the 9th inning. Since then, the Yankees have won 9 of 12. Stump Merrill thinks they can play 500 ball. I don't know if the players believe it, but they're believing it right now because they're playing very good.
Toronto knows they are a 500 team and hopefully better than that, but they're having to do it without some key people, particularly at third, Kelly Gruber.
He's been out since May 3rd with a chip fracture in his finger, but Ed Sprague Jr. has filled in magnificently, hitting .361, the youngster out at Stanford. But the pitching of the Blue Jays has been simply outstanding. David Wells, who's going tonight, has been great. The bullpen with Dwayne Ward filling in so well when Tom Henke was injured. Now Henke's back. Ken Daly's helping out, and there is some concern about Dave Stieb, though. That's the only negative.
We'll get to see one of the big starters tonight, as Wells will be on the mound for the Toronto Blue Jays, and for the Yankees making his major league debut, left-hander Jeff Johnson. Yankee Stadium, stand by. Coming up, the Blue Jays and the Yankees. And welcome back to Yankee Stadium, where Toronto and the Yankees go into Game 3, rubber match of the series. A little different lineup. It'll be Devon White leading it off with a left-hander on the mound in center field. At second base, Roberto Alomar. The big hitter, Joe Carter, will be in left field batting third, getting a start against the lefty, Pat Tabler, at first base. Great fill-in role, Ed Sprague at third base. Making the start in right field, switch hitter Mark Whitten. Doing the catching will be Pat Borders. The shortstop, Manuel Lee. And the designated hitter batting ninth, Glenn Allen Hill.
Well, if you're going to make your major league debut, you might as well do it under the microscope of the Big Apple. And Jeff Johnson, 6'4", 200-pounder out of Durham, North Carolina, 24 years old, had some great numbers down at Columbus in AAA. Called up when the Yankees suffered injury problems. Pascual Perez was originally slated to go tonight. The catcher is the new papa, Bob Guerin. He and wife Pam, first child last week. The infield, Pat Kelly, a second baseman by trade, is filled in nicely at third with Alvaro Espinoza, Steve Saxon, Don Mattingly back from the dislocated finger. And the right fielder is Jesse Barfield, he of the great arm. Roberto Kelly and Hensley Mullins, who sometimes stumbles defensively, has been working hard at it.
Well, these teams have split games of 5-3. Yankees winning last night, ready to go. First major league pitch is a base hit. Played in by Mullins, and Devon White greets the rookie Jeff Johnson with a line drive single to left field. He's got a figure fastball, so that's what he got. Welcome to the major leagues, Jeff.
Well, some guys decide to go up and look at the youngsters, not Devon White, who leaves hacking. Cito Gaston, who was an offensive player when he played with the San Diego Padres, probably told his guys, hey, this guy didn't walk many in AAA. Go up there, hack, and let's see if we can get at him early.
Devon White's putting up some big numbers right now in that leadoff spot, and one of the things he has done so well for them is leading off a ball game. You want to get on in the first inning and score runs. Give yourself that advantage. White has been doing that for them. He's been able to get on base in that leadoff spot. .342 on base percentage when leading off an inning. He's on there now. And here's Alomar with a 10-game hit streak, and right away Johnson's got to worry about a base runner, and the team captain of the Yankees, Don Mattingly, makes his way over to the mound just to try and settle him a little bit.
Talked with Bob Guerin, the catcher, who consulted with Wade Taylor, also a pitcher up in Columbus, and the report was that Jeff Johnson has a good move. It looked like Devon White was thinking about going. He took a false step towards second base.
They'd like to rattle the rookie if they can. Pretty good lead at first. A chance for another base hit into left field. Alomar's got an 11-game hit streak. We've seen 2 pitches thrown. There are runners at first and second with nobody out. 2 singles in almost the exact same spot to the right of Alvaro Espinoza, the shortstop.
Bob Guerin out talking with his young left-hander, and he probably saying something to the effect, hey, you keep throwing strikes. We got a decent defensive club out there. Sooner or later they're going to hit one at somebody. The worry you have is a youngster like Johnson coming in. His first 2 big league pitches have been wrapped for singles. Now you got a slugger like Joe Carter up. Does that chase him off the plate? We'll find out shortly.
Carter's is tattooing left-handers, batting .345 against lefties with 2 home runs off the southpaws.
Kind of unusual for Joe because last year he only hit .197 against lefties, and the year before he had an 0 for 33. So he has struggled in the past against lefties, but not this year.
29 RBIs, the Toronto Blue Jays, and he's in an RBI situation right now. Finally, 1 pitch goes in without being hit, and it is a ball. There you see the numbers for Carter. First and second, nobody out. Infield at double play depth. Devon White with good speed heads to third. Double steal. Throw down by Garrett. He was not interfered with. Ball goes into left field. Mullins will pick it up. A run scores, and Guerin's arguing. Guerin is going to argue that Carter stepped in front of him, and Carter's talking back on it. They do not call interference. The Blue Jays lead 1-0. Devon White scores on the double steal, and Stump Merrill is out to talk to Tim McClellan, the home plate umpire.
Well, we'll take another look. Joe Carter has to give way. Now, does he? Well, actually, Guerin stepped into him. I don't think Carter did anything wrong, and that's going to be an error on Guerin. That allows the run to score.
Well, Jeff Johnson is not going to forget his start here tonight. Devon White with a single to lead it off, comes across with the first run. Guerin will be charged with the error. At second base is Alomar. Toronto leading 1-0. Still nobody out, and a 2-0 count on Carter. And a big lead at second as Johnson whirls, and the Blue Jays just trying to rattle the 24-year-old left-hander, and they're doing about everything you can to do that at this point. Not what he had in mind for a start. And Guerin has to block that one, missing down low, and the count is 3 balls and no strikes on Carter.
Joe could get a green light here. Cito Gaston knows he's got this young pitcher on the ropes. Robbie Alomar at second base. Probably not going to run in this situation, but Johnson has a slow delivery to the plate.
3-0 count. See if Carter gets the green light here with nobody out. He does. Looking fastball. And Johnson discovers what a Bronx cheer is.
Actually, it looked like Joe Carter, even on a 3-0 pitch, was trying to hit the ball to the right side to advance Alomar. Blue Jays a different tack this year, playing more team baseball. Explain why in a second.
Carter, 3 on him, and he's gone. First major league strikeout for Johnson, and his first out.
Johnson throws the tailing fastball. Guerin said he's got the tailer. That ball had great movement to it. He also has a cross seamer, but you can tell Joe Carter is really fooled with the movement on that baseball. Mentioned the Blue Jays are going to have to play little baseball this year. They don't have the power. They lost McGriff. They lost George Bell, and they're having to manufacture runs this year. Carter is the one power threat they have in the lineup.
Pat Tabler now making the start at first base in tonight's game because the left-hander's on the mound. Tabler, who was out taking extra batting practice today, working on coming down on the baseball rather than going under it. He's been swinging up and under, not getting a lot of good wood. So he took extra batting practice today. He really didn't think he was going to be starting tonight. Most of the Blue Jays didn't realize that a left-hander was going to be on the mound. Perez was supposed to make the start for the Yankees. He was put on the DL yesterday, and as a result of that move, Johnson got the call from AAA to make the start here tonight. It was done after the game yesterday, so a number of the Blue Jays thought they were going to see a right-hander today, including Tabler. There goes Alomar. Guerin the throw, and it is not in time. Alomar's at third with a stolen base.
15 steals for Roberto. He's number 4 in the American League, and that's the perfect time to do it. You have a right-handed batter up with a 1 out, and now what? They're going to send him back to second, and what are they going to say? Interference on Tabler? I don't know. He's pointing back to second base. That time, Bob Guerin went in behind, and I can't imagine what this call would be.
Cito Gaston has come out. You see Durwood Merrill making the safe call at third. Tim McClellan, the home plate umpire, talking with the Toronto manager. And obviously, he's not happy. He's saying you were listening to what was being said on the last throw. But that is going to be the call. Alomar's on his way back to second base.
Well, if indeed it's batter interference, and Pat Tabler is going to head to the dugout because he'll be out. Let's take a look at the sequence here. Alomar has a pretty good jump. Guerin comes out throwing. Tabler never moves a muscle, and Guerin's got a clean shot. And I just am perplexed at what this call is, to be honest with you folks. They're talking about getting out of the way. If you can read lips, he's saying he has to get out of the way. Pat Tabler never moved a muscle. I mean, if there's going to be any interference called, it should have been with Joe Carter at the plate, because Carter kind of leaned in. This time, Tabler didn't move a muscle, and Cito's not going to win the argument. But Pat Tabler, by definition of the rules, the way I understand it, is out.
Well, he's staying in.
Stump Merrill's going to want to get an explanation here.
Yeah, Merrill wants to know what. He's satisfied with it. Obviously, it didn't take long. McClellan called Stump Merrill back to talk with him. Alomar's gone back to second base with one away. The count is 2-0 on Tabler.
Well, it's time to grab the rule book, folks, because I don't understand this one.
We will look this one up and find out. That's the situation, though, and Tabler stays in. Jeff Johnson's got to be wondering, wait a minute.
This is the big leagues?
This is the big leagues? The left-hander, already given up one run, a couple of hits, has the runner at second base. There's the count on Tabler. Alomar does not go, and the pitch is outside. Ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes on Tabler. It's not that Tabler's exactly burned up the left-handers thus far this season. Tabler's batting only 143 against them. He's had 49 at-bats and only 7 hits. One of them was a home run. 3-0 count. Green light? No. 3-1. Cito Gaston got in his 2 cents worth, but pretty calmly done, and headed back out of Durham, North Carolina. Played at the University of North Carolina. Yankees 6th-round pick in June of '88, the free agent draft. Johnson, 3-1 count. Will fake Alomar back to second base.
Not a bad move. The youngsters kept a good eye on Roberto, but both Espinosa and Sachs are playing very wide of the bag. So Robbie, if he gets the jump, is going to run here.
They pinch at second to hold the runner. It'll be foul back, and the count will go full. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, Sachs had that read very well. All of a sudden, instead of playing wide, Steve came in, held Alomar much closer.
Toronto's 3rd in the stolen base department this season. Oakland, of course, with Ricky Henderson on top in that department. There is Alomar at second. The 14 stolen bases. Fans applauding for the strikeout. 3-2 count, 1 away. Almost nailed him at the knees. Now Johnson's going to get it all down here in the first inning. He's gave up his first hit, first run, first walk, first strikeout. And Guerin will go out to talk with him, with Sprague coming to the plate. Runners at first and second, and so will the Yankee skipper.
First visit from Stump Merrill.
Get it all done. But you got to get what he really wants to get done is the first inning. That's what he wants to complete here.
Yankee starters have really struggled this year. 14-18 with a 4.86 ERA. The bullpen, which is averaging close to 4 innings of work a night, has an ERA of 3.09. But Stump is looking for some starters that can get him into the 6th and 7th and 8th, because if you keep going to that bullpen as much as they've been going early, come August, the Yankee bullpen is going to be flat, worn out.
The Yankees have a series coming up with Texas. They have a day off tomorrow. Mike Witt is going to come off the DL and will pitch Friday. They haven't decided on the move there yet. Saturday's pitchers for Texas and New York are undecided against undecided, and Sunday it'll be undecided for the Yankees against Jose Guzman. they will be making some decisions after the game tonight. The Yankees will, about that pitching staff. Stump Merrill said before the game, it is day to day at this point. That's not what you want to hear about your pitching staff. 1-0 count on Sprague. See what he has done in relationship to the major league average. What he has done is a great job filling in at third base for Kelly Gruber. That one is hit in the air to center. Kelly drifting, being called off by Barfield, who's got that great arm, and he shows it. 2 down. Two away, runners on at first and second. He led the league in assists in the outfield. You do not run on Jesse Barfield. And he gunned that into the cutoff man, Alvaro Espinosa. So now with 2 on and a run in, we'll leave it up to Mark Whitten. Lots of opportunities here for RBIs. You see Whitten has picked up 18 of them. Yankee infield can back it all the way up now. If Johnson tries to get out of this with no further damage, Alomar big lead at second. And that's towards second and sacks. He's got a force play. He'll take it to first base, and that will do it. So in his major league debut, it was a little rocky, but Jeff Johnson settles down, gets out of there, a run scored on a couple of hits. We're not a 500 baseball team at home. They're 1 over right now. Good leadoff man, Roberto Kelly. He'll make the start in center field. 6-game hit streak. Steve Sachs, he'll be at second base. Don Mattingly off the injury, back in the lineup yesterday, and he'll be at first base tonight. Kevin Moss, the designated hitter. Jesse Barfield will make the start in right field. Also a start tonight in left for Hensley Mullins, his 28th. Alvaro Espinosa will be the shortstop. Bob Guerin, the new daddy, will be doing the catching, and batting ninth at third base, Pat Kelly.
And the mound for the Blue Jays tonight, one of the hottest pitchers in baseball. You see his overall numbers, but in the last month, May, he was 5-1 with a 1.73 ERA. He's making his 11th start. He has been pitching superb baseball. Last start, he had his first major league complete game through 117 pitches. Catching him tonight will be the right-handed tandem of the backstop duo. That is Pat Borders. The infield, Roberto Alomar has played brilliantly at second base for the Blue Jays. Pat Tabler at first, Manuel Lee at short, and Ed Sprague filling in at third base. Manuel Lee, excuse me.
Please.
Joe Carter in left. Devon White in center, and Mark Whitten will be in right. Whitten has an outstanding throwing arm. Devon White, 3 Gold Glove in his career.
A very cool 61 degrees at Yankee Stadium. You can see the clouds. There was some rain at about 5 o'clock. Very light, very brief. Sun came out, clouds came back. So the chance of rain still at 40%. Most negligible winds at the start of the game. What we have blowing out towards right field.
We finally got clarification on what happened. The home plate umpire, Tim McClellan, called interference on himself. He did not call it on Tabler. McClellan said he impeded Bob Guerin's throw to third base. Thus, it was not Tabler who was out. The umpire was ruling himself in error. So that clears up the confusion, although it did have us scrambling for a few minutes, because I know when the batter interferes, he's out.
So McClellan called it on himself. Here's Roberto Kelly, 5 for his last 13, upping the average to 266, 21 RBIs. And Wells, the left-hander, hits it in for a strike. David Wells, mighty tough. The Yankees are, as Dave said, facing a red-hot pitcher who has been real tough against them. He lost the first start he ever had against the Yankees and hasn't lost since. He's 6-1-1 against the Yankees, because this is a man who started as a reliever last year and then turned into a magnificent starter, finishing up 11-6 last season. And a little inside, 2 balls, 1 strike.
Wells has a very fluid motion. Fastball, curveball, excellent changeup, and a good-looking ear ring. What do you think, David?
I don't know. And swung on and missed, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That's the change. And Galen Cisco, his pitching coach, says he's been able to throw that anywhere in the count. 2 balls, 1 strike. Kelly looking fastball. He got the changeup in a great location.
There's Galen next to Cito on the bench. 2-2 delivery towards third. Fast runner. Play made off the mark. That'll be a base hit for Roberto Kelly as Sprague could not get to that one in time with Kelly's speed. Even a perfect throw wouldn't have gotten him. Infield single for Roberto Kelly.
Sprague had it in his sights. Then all of a sudden the ball kicked a little right on him towards the foul line. That threw off all of his coordination. He could get nothing on the throw. He looked like he had it in his sights. He's coming here, and then watch the ball kick right on him, or to your left. Boom. All of a sudden it kicks over to the left, and Sprague just can't get anything on the throw.
We're going to have interesting first innings all the way around. There's Sprague filling in at third base, as we said. He made a nice play on that ball in any event. Now it's Steve Sax. He's on a 6-game hit streak. 10 hits in his last 28 at-bats. And he'll take that one outside for a ball.
Well, I can say something about Ed Sprague that a lot of broadcasters can say. That is, I played with his daddy. Dad Ed got to a few major league clubs as a pitcher. I played with him in St. Louis in 1973. Great guy.
A big opportunity for his son. And it gets away at first. Ends up touched by a fan. And it may have caused an injury to Kelly as it hit him. Roberto Kelly took that on the back and stayed down on the bag as the ball bounced away. Fan reached over and grabbed it.
Interesting decision here for the umpire at first base, Don Denkinger. He ruled that a fan touched it, but there's also a situation where the umpire has to take into account where the runner would have been had the fan not touched it. Roberto Kelly's lying flat on his stomach. He never made an attempt to get up and go to second base, so it's going to be interesting to see what the ruling is here. Pretty good move by Wells, and this ball drills Roberto Kelly right in the back. But you see Roberto lying there, going over to get his Pat Tabler, and we'll see if there's an advance by the runner or not. I don't think he should be allowed to advance.
I don't think he would have made it. I don't think he would have gone, even if the ball had not hit him. If it had ended up in the same place, he would not have gone anywhere, because those stands are very close to the foul line down there, so he'll remain at first base.
Very much like a ball hit in the corner, extra base hit, sure double, possible triple, and the fan touches it. The umpire does have at his discretion. If he thinks the ball player would have reached third base on a triple, he can award that.
Wells had 8 pickoffs last season, and base stealers were only 50% successful. He is tough to run on. Fouled off by Sax, and the count goes to a ball and a strike. David Wells has started this season almost exactly where he left off last year. It's amazing the identicalness of the numbers. Batters hit .235 against him last year. They're batting .236 against him this year. Finished up 11-6 last season. He's 6-4 now. He's got a .294 ERA now. Was 3.14 last year. And Sax will fight another one off behind the dugout. Count remains at a ball and 2 strikes for the Yankees' number 2 hitter.
Steve Sax has hit better against left-handed pitching 8 consecutive years. He, along with Alvaro Espinoza and Roberto Kelly, really like the southpaws.
Sax batting only .206 against them right now. He has not had a home run. In fact, he's only had 1 extra base hit against the left-handers, 1 double. Those, as Dave said, though, not the career kind of numbers you expect from Steve Sax against southpaws. 1-2 count, nobody out. Kelly at first base. We'll go back. In addition to that fine move, Wells had only 1 balk all last year. Lots of times those guys with great moves are very fine as far as being close to a balk move.
Got to remember what league he's in now.
That's right.
They don't call many over in this league.
1-2, runner not going, up high to Sax.
You look at the numbers over the last 15 years, and you consider 2 more teams in the American League than the National, and yet the balks are always much higher in the National League.
Well, Bucky Showalter going through the signs at third base for the Yankees for Kelly. 2-2 count to Sax. Changeup misses high and away. 3-2.
One of the reasons you like to start runners with Steve Sax, particularly in this situation, 3 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Steve Sax hit more ground balls than anybody in baseball. And Don Mattingly, Yankee skipper Stump Merrill, doesn't want him hitting with nobody on base. So to avoid the double play, this is a situation where Roberto Kelly definitely should be going, but he's got to make sure David Wells pitches to the plate.
What Sax can do with it on a 3-2 count, he is hit into 5 ground ball double plays, and on this one he'll foul it off with Kelly taking off for second. The other thing we're doing in the American League, this game is starting out with perfect American League timing. They're in the bottom of the first inning, and it's 8:02 according to the stadium clock.
Hey, when the leadoff man gets on, and they have in both half innings, things come to a standstill. The game you did Sunday night, a great game, by the way, Chicago and Oakland. Terrific telecast and a terrific baseball game, but Charlie Huff threw over to first base 40-some times. That will slow it down, folks.
That'll do it, won't it? Now Sax is going to back out on Wells. Yankees this season here at Yankee Stadium have won 13 and lost 12. They were 37 and 44 at home last year, so we've got to improve that record to get over 500 at home. To be 500, they got him picked off. Kelly's at a rundown. Coming back at him is Manuel Lee, covered up by the pitcher Wells. Third baseman gets involved. They'll tag him out of there as they rotated and got him. Well, Kelly kept it going for a while. 1-3, 6-1-4 on the, well, I guess it's a pickoff. He kind of froze. He didn't exactly head towards second base, so I don't think it's a caught stealing.
Well, the one rule of thumb we talked about just before that play is that Roberto Kelly has to make sure that David Wells goes to the plate. And, yeah, that'll go as a caught stealing because he had taken 2 steps. Now Manuel Lee makes a mistake because he's got him right there, and all of a sudden he throws it to David Wells. Now it's going to be shades of the late, great Jackie Robinson. Get in the pickle and stay there. But Robbie Alomar had enough momentum coming to secure the out.
And Sax on another 3-2 pitch fouls it off into the seats down the right field line.
There were those who talked about Jackie Robinson when he would get caught in a pickle like that. They said that was one of the most exciting plays in all of baseball.
Still concerned with Kelly's back. That's where he was hit on the back by David Wells in the first attempted pickoff over there. So Sax now with the bases empty, 3-2 count. Third 3-2 delivery by Wells, and Sax towards the gap in left center field. That nobody's going to get that one all the way to the wall. 399 away. You'll go into second base and stop there with a stand-up double and a 7-game hit streak. He's at second, 1 away. Let's check in with John Saunders.
One deep at Yankee Stadium. Here's one even deeper. The Giants and the Pirates. Tough first inning for Kelly Downs. Jeff King takes one really back and gone over the wall. His third of the year, a 3-run shot, gives him a 5-0 lead, and that was all for Kelly Downs. Let's get it back to Gary and Dave.
Oh, that's San Francisco pitching. Oh, my gosh.
I guess the Bucks didn't like their 9-game hitting streak getting stopped last night. Their 9-game winning streak getting stopped.
Sax is on at second base, and now each manager's been to the mound in the first inning as Gaston goes out to talk with David Wells. Sax picks up his 8th double of the season. Alvaro Espinosa leads the Yankees with 11 two-baggers.
From the FYI department, backing up what you were talking about with David Wells, that is the 8th base runner caught stealing with David Wells on the mound so far in 1991. That leads the American League.
Well, he's got a great move over there, obviously. So the Yankees down by a run here. They've had the first 2 men on, but they got 1 out. Now Don Mattingly is hit safely in the last 10 games he's played in, including his return last night. That's why the fans gave a little extra applause. Mattingly dislocated a pinky finger in the game we did here on Memorial Day. First and second baseman Alomar and Tabler talking over how Wells is going to be pitching here. Mattingly came back last night, went 2 for 4, a home run, had been out for 6 games. He led the club with a .311 batting average in the month of May. There goes the base runner, throw down, off the mark, he's safe. Off the bag, safe still. And Sprague is really upset. Sprague thought he had missed the bag, or the second time at least come off it, and Gaston's out again, arguing with Durwood Merrill.
Durwood, what'd you really call Durwood? I mean, you called safe 3 times, and Cito doesn't like this one at all. Cito doesn't get a whole bunch of ejections. He's had his say and somehow kept the magic words to himself. Yankees being very aggressive on the base paths here in the bottom of the first. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Hey, what do you think? I think he's out. And I think he's out. I don't know about that time. I think he was out the first time and safe the second. No, says Durwood. 3 times. He's safe. How many times I got to tell you?
I think Gaston was arguing about the immediacy of the call being made before the base runner, Steve Sax, had actually stopped moving. It matters not. Safe every time. 8 for 10, stealing bases, and Mattingly's got a chance to get the game tied up. Takes the strike 2 and 1. Mattingly against Wells, and the infield has already moved in here in the first inning. So Toronto figuring on a close ball game. As David had said, they are playing that way this season, not figuring they're going to score a whole lot of runs. Big help from Mattingly. 2-1 to him. Wells misses outside. 3 and 1. See what Mattingly has done. As it gets tougher, so does he.
Pretty much right in line with his career numbers. Don Mattingly has driven in 37% of men in scoring position in his career. That's the best of all active players.
3-1 delivery by Wells, and he walks him. He wasn't even coming close. And I think intentionally. John?
Mets and the Reds in New York struggling defensively. No error on this play, but watch McReynolds, Elster, and Coleman all converge on the ball. Drops in between all 3. Billy Doran comes in to score. Chris Sable winds up with the RBI. 1-0. They lead. Dwight Gooden. Let's get back to Gary and Dave.
Well, Doc said it was his mechanics that were messed up in the last couple of starts where he hasn't pitched well, and he had tried to make some adjustments for the game tonight.
Yeah, what he'd like to do is take one of his crescent wrenches out and beat it over the head of some of his outfielders.
Well, the Yankee fans, as we said, are feeling pretty good about their Yankees, the way they're playing right now, having won 9 of the last 12. We're just in the first inning. Runners at first and third. A 1-0 lead for Toronto. And here's Kevin Maas. And he takes it down low. The left-handed slugger against left-handers is batting .280, and he has had 6 home runs already off southpaws. 6 of the 9 home runs have been against left-handers. He's been pulling them to that short porch. 214, 314 down the line here in right. 1-0 delivery to him. Wells gets the outside corner. That is not a good number. Sax is at third. Mattingly's at first. 1 out. Infield playing back. Boy, they've swung around too. They got Lee, the shortstop, playing on second base.
A lot of clubs have put the shift on Kevin Maas this year. He's been pretty much a dead pull hitter, but with a double play situation, Manuel Lee will stay on the shortstop side barely. Robbie Alomar played way over in the hole. Blue Jays kind of a split defense, still hoping for the double play. I think if nobody's on, you may see 3 infielders on the right side of second base.
2-1 pitch. And Wells behind on the count, 3 balls and 1 strike.
Mentioned David's first major league complete game. Last game out, 117 pitches. And some of the Blue Jays said, boy, he was really in a tremendous groove. All of a sudden, an infield hit by Roberto Kelly seemed to get him out of that groove. He struggled here in the first inning.
3-1 count, 1 away. Maas. Good pitch down and away. Some real bite away from the left-hander. 3-2. Wells struggling here.
Wells cuts a fastball down and away. Let's see if Mattingly runs. Don doesn't run very often, and Maas will strike out.
He has hit into a couple of double plays. He is such a fly ball hitter. trying to get the ball up in the air.
David Wells basically a fly ball pitcher as well.
3-2 count, 1 out. Mattingly not going. Moss fouls it back, and the count stays at 3-2. Moss in this series has gone 1 for 7. This is the first meeting for the Yankees and Toronto this season. Yankees, as we said, lost the first game 5-3 in a 2-hour-plus rain-delayed game. And Merrill's team came back last night and got the victory over Cito Gaston's Toronto Blue Jays by the same score. Now Wells, 3-2, 1 away. Full count delivery. Broke the bat. Wells looks, sacks back to third, has to go to first. Ooh, and Mattingly was a long way from second base when he looked there. Donnie had kind of pulled up on his way to second base, but decided not to go there, but they don't get a run in because Sachs had to stay at third. 2 down.
Interesting decision coming as we look at this shattered bat off the slants of Wells. Moss doesn't get it very much on it. First thing Wells does is look at the plate. Sees the runner not coming, and Mattingly slows down going to second. Finally, Wells just goes to first. The interesting decision comes now with Jesse Barfield, who has been lightning hot at the plate. Will they walk him and pitch to Hensley Mullins? Couldn't quite figure out what you were doing, did you, David? Took the sure out at first base, but he did.
Pat Tabler stayed back in the bag to cover, fortunately for Wells. Well, let's see what they do with it. Now there are 2 down, runners at third and second. Sachs and Mattingly. 1-0 Toronto lead here in the first inning. Barfield is hit safely in 6. Ball 1.
11 RBIs in his last 8 games, too. Had 4 home runs a week ago. That was the most in the American League. I think I would pitch very carefully to Jesse right here. He's never hurt his former mates too much, only hitting .216 against Toronto, the team he came up with, but he's been hot lately. I don't think you can afford to mess with him in this situation.
He has 4 home runs off left-handers. Batting .262 off the lefties this year, and he's ahead on the count here. 2 balls and no strikes. You see what Barfield's been doing, hitting the long ball. Barfield up there with 10 home runs and 29 RBIs, leading the Yankees in both departments. 2-0 pitch. And he's not coming close here either. 3 balls, no strikes.
Borders looks in, and now they will make the decision. 4th one will be wide intentionally. They're not going to let Barfield have a shot at a triple pitch here. 3 balls, no strikes. So they'll just put him on and go after Hensley Mullins.
That is an intentional walk. Second one of the inning. And it loads them up with Bam Bam.
Of course, intentional walks have been anything but non-adventurous. Mike Timlin, a reliever for the Blue Jays, threw a wild pitch and allowed a run to score during an intentional walk. Adam Peterson of the Padres did it. It's been done 3 times this year, folks. If you're wondering why they have to throw the ball on the intentional pass instead of just sending him down to first.
As you see, Mullins has had little luck with the bases loaded. He's inserted against the left-hander because he's batting .267 off lefties with a couple of home runs. Bases loaded, 2 down, Toronto leading 1-0. And Wells goes up high, ball 1. Mullins has struck out 42 times this season in 111 at-bats. That is a very high strikeout number. And Borders is on his way out to talk to Wells.
Well, for David Wells, he's allowed 4 base runners in the inning. The good news is that he picked one of them off. Nobody has scored yet, but he has struggled mightily here in the first.
Looking at those strikeouts for Mullins this season against left-handers, he has struck out 21 times. 21 and 60 at-bats. Look at the number of pitches thrown first inning. 1-0 count, 2 away, bases loaded. Not close. 2 balls and no strikes.
I think David Wells at the end of tonight will still have 1 complete game to his credit. It'll be the upset of the century if he pitches a complete game tonight. He's at 31 and counting in the first inning.
Quite an unusual number. Even though he didn't have any complete games last year, he went deeper in games than anybody else on the staff. Mullins to right field. Mark Whiten is there, and on a 2-0 count, Wells gets out of it. So no run score despite 2 hits and 2 walks and 3 left on. By the time we get to the 5th inning here at Yankee Stadium. Gary Thorne, Dave Campbell, it is the top of the 2nd. Toronto 1-2-0, the Yankees 0-2-1. Toronto's already left 2 on, the Yankees left the bases loaded. The rookie pitcher, Jeff Johnson, will give it another whirl here. And not with any greater success. First ball hitting, Pat Borders, left field. So the extra batting practice works. And Borders is on. And Toronto's got their 3rd hit, all singles. Lee coming up.
And the infamous leadoff man is on again.
Hitting the ball pretty good.
I'll tell you, Ed Whitson, who pitches with the Padres now, formerly with the Yankees, he went through a string of 30 consecutive innings a year ago, getting out the first man in an inning. And if you want to look at the successful pitchers, you get the first guy out, your chances of success are a great deal more. Some pitchers don't start bearing down until they get men in scoring position. If you would bear down and get the leadoff hitter, they wouldn't get to scoring position.
That's right. And let's see if the running continues. Borders without particular speed on at first base. See how they want to play this. Rich Hacker, formerly with St. Louis, coaching at 3rd now for Toronto. Nobody out. Infield at double play depth. Emmanuel Lee. And Johnson will step off.
Manny has been hot. 12 for 21 last week. That was the best mark in Major League Baseball. Talking to Galen Cisco, the pitching coach of the Blue Jays, said he has played a tremendous shortstop. So he has filled in nicely for Tony Fernandez.
1-0 count. Borders goes. Hit and run. Foul back by Lee as he tried to poke it towards right field, even though the shortstop ended up moving over to cover. Dave, I was just checking in my Bible here, the Elias Baseball Analyst. They ran the numbers from 1900 forward on the chances of scoring when the leadoff man gets on base. It is more than 3 times greater than if you have that first man as an out. So you get the leadoff man on, your chances of scoring are 3 times better than when you start with 1 away. 1-1. Big cut.
Numbers I saw last year, 44% if the leadoff man gets on, 31% if he gets on with 1 out, 16% if a man gets on first base. We're talking about first base only with 2 outs.
Hacker's gone through the signs here. It's a 1-2 count.
Either that or he's got arthritis and was rubbing some of the sore spots. Which?
He will have arthritis before this night's over, just giving signs. Mattingly holding the bag at first. 1-2 the count to Lee. Borders not a big lead, not going inside.
You mentioned you grabbed the Bible. Of course, we know the Bible. Baseball in the big inning. That's how it begins.
In the beginning, that's right.
In the big inning.
In the beginning.
Thank you.
It's right there in both books.
That's right.
Elias and the capital B Bible.
Yeah.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Waters diving back in. Tell you one thing, Johnson didn't come off a couple of starts to make his major league debut that he would have selected. His last 2 outings he was non-decision and he didn't go very far. June 2nd he pitched an inning and 2/3 at AAA, gave up 4 runs, 4 hits. The game before that he went 3 2/3, gave up 6 runs on 8 hits and didn't strike anybody out in either game. And he had picked up strikeouts prior to that in his AAA starts. So his last 2 starts not good. Nevertheless, at AAA he was 7th in the International League in ERA prior to the call-up yesterday by the Yankees. Lifetime 24 and 22 in the minors. 3 ball, 2 strike count. Nobody out. Borders faking the go. Stays. Lee fouls it back.
Johnson threw 2 great sinking fastballs to Joe Carter on 3 balls, 1 strike and 3 and 2. And those are the only 2 fastballs that he's thrown that have had great movement on them.
He's got a chance of sticking if he could have a good outing here with this Yankee staff very much in turmoil and very unsettled. Again, he'll throw to first. As we said, the Yankees will make a decision after tonight's game about what they're going to do for Friday when they bring Witt off the DL. He will start the game Friday. Perez has gone on the 15-day DL. Island, the young pitcher, is hurt, not starting right now. Wade Taylor came up, has made a start this past week. He's going to stay. He looked good.
My guess is whatever they do is going to involve Chuck Carey, the left-hander.
3-2 again to Lee. That one to right field. Barfield. Runner plays it halfway, 1 down.
Well, Jess giving us his Willie Mays basket catch out there. Jesse, did you lose it in the lights?
From the front side.
Yeah, a little basket catch for Jesse Barfield.
Yankees have tried to work a deal. Eric Plunk has been in the rumor mill for a trade. They've not been able to do anything with that. Question of Carey is very much up for grabs. He says he's ready to start a game. Says, I feel all right, I can pitch. But the Yankees have not said to him, you're going to start. You have Carey, Island, Leary, Perez, Scott Sanderson, Wade Taylor. All have started games. Witt will join them on Friday. And joining them here tonight is this left-hander Johnson.
According to the local tabloids, Chuck Carey spent about 45 minutes in the training room yesterday working on the elbow. So the cop-out, the easy way to go is just DL him and put Witt on. And unless something major happens in the meantime, that's probably the way the Yankees will go.
1-0 delivery, 1 away, runner at first. And Glenn Allen Hill, the designated hitter who is batting 9th, fouls that one off. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1-0 Toronto lead.
Blue Jays, one of those advanced organizations that does a lot of testing, psychological, physical testing, say that this man has scored the highest ever on their physical strength tests. Glenn Allen Hill doesn't make the consistent contact, though, but when he does, look out.
Borders again will go back to first base. Hill's not had a lot of opportunities this season for playing time. His last start was on Sunday against the Angels. This will be the 15th game he has started as the designated hitter for the Blue Jays. 1-1 by Johnson to him, and he fouls that back with a big cut, a ball and 2 strikes. A very heralded rookie who did not live up to the heralds.
Of course, well documented his phobia with spiders last year, which a movie came out about 3 weeks later called Arachnophobia. Had a tough year. And you see that when he gets 2 strikes on him, that is not when he does his best hitting. That's because he strikes out a lot.
And he does here. 1-2 towards the mound, towards center, off the glove of Sachs. He slowed it down, and making the turn and going to third is Borders. And Johnson cannot buy a break. Glenn Allen Hill will pick up a 50 hopper to center field. First and third, 1 out. John?
The Mets and the Reds, and Doc Gooden on the mound for New York. He has struggled in his last 3 starts, and things not much better tonight. Barry Larkin back up the middle past Elster. Hatcher comes around to score. 19 runs in his last 20-plus allowed by Gooden. It's 3-0. They're only in the 3rd. That's guaranteed.
You'd about the house, that wouldn't happen.
Well, we saw Elster just miss that ball out stretch. The difference in that play right there was one kind of crazy carom. It looked like Sachs had it in his sights, and all of a sudden it hit a blade of grass and kicked a little higher than Steve thought. So instead of an inning double play, it's first and third and 1 out.
Devon White. Ball 1. And Jeff Johnson in trouble again in the 2nd inning. He has now given up 4 hits. They have all been singles. 1 run in the 1st inning was an unearned run when Devon White reached on a single. Ended up stealing a base and scoring on an error by Guerin on the throw to third. And that'll be taken down low, and Johnson's behind on the count. 2 balls and no strikes. And again, Guerin will go out to talk to the major league debuter.
I think what Guerin is trying to do here is just settle the youngster in and tell him to have confidence in his pitches. He says you're getting the ground balls. He's really only given up 2 line drive hits. The other 2 have been ground balls. And I think Johnson's trying to be too fine with his pitches. And Guerin's saying, hey, just let the natural movement on the ball do it. You'll get the ground ball here. Maybe we can get a double play, although Devon White's awfully tough to double. Here's a man who had a lot of experience nurturing young pitchers. 9 years in the minor leagues before Bob Guerin finally got a legitimate shot. And he's doing a nice job for the Yankees. Batting average not exactly what he wants it this year, but he's a pretty good catcher.
Devon White is a switch hitter. Saw the numbers. 2-0 count. Purple pitch right here for him. He got a fastball and drills it into center field. Borders will score. It is a 2-0 lead. Hill stops at second base. And Toronto's taken some pretty good cuts off this left-hander. But Devon White is 26th run batted in. He's not fooling him.
Well, Devon White does a good piece of hitting. Instead of trying to pull a 2-0 pitch, he goes right with it, hits it where it's pitched, and ropes it up the alley to right center field. One thing that Dwayne Ward, who's been an excellent relief pitcher for the Toronto Blue Jays, said this year, he said, it took me a couple of years to learn that the best pitch in baseball is strike one. Right now, I think that Johnson's getting scared off the plate a little bit and getting behind hitters. He had 2 singles on his first 2 pitches of the game. And Mark Connors, the pitching coach, is going to come out, and I think he's going to talk to Johnson about that very thing. You've got to throw strikes, young man. Just pick up Guerin, block everything else out.
White is 2 for 2. Alomar's got a 1-0 count after singling his first time up. 5 hits off Jeff Johnson. Great to have you with us. ESPN's Wednesday Night Baseball, Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Gary Thorne and Dave Campbell as the Yankees try and take the series, this being the 3rd game these teams have played. Last season, New York Yankees against Toronto were on the losing end of it. Toronto took the season series 8 games to 5.
See if the Jays might start the runners here. They figured Johnson may be aiming a pitch. They got great speed aboard.
They do not go, and he did aim the pitch right down the middle. 1 ball and 1 strike on Alomar.
Roberto, a good contact man. Hits the ball behind the runners. Do a lot of things in this situation.
Be one of the unheralded hitters in the game. Alomar takes it down low. Wow. 1 ball, 2 strikes, not down low.
Tim's one of those umpires that yells strike, but gives us a little bit of a delayed call.
And he'll looking back to second base. Hill at second, White at first, 1 out, a 2-0 lead for the Blue Jays. Johnson, the 1-2 delivery. No question where that one was. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Why is it for the 444th consecutive time when a pitching coach comes out, though, the pitcher always seems to throw a couple of strikes right afterwards?
Seems to pick up the concentration, doesn't it? Alomar hit 287 last year, hitting 286 right now. And he got him. He took something off that one. So Johnson gets his 2nd strikeout, and there are 2 down here in the 2nd inning.
Sometimes you just get caught up with everything that's going on, and a lot of things go through your mind. And the one thing you want to do as a pitcher often is just try to play pitch and catch with your catcher. Focus in only on him and forget everything else. But when things start happening all around you, you have a tendency as a young pitcher especially to get distracted. Good tailing movement on that ball, and Alomar can't catch up with him.
See if Johnson can get out of this inning now. 2 on and 2 away. Carter, pop up, short, Espinosa. And he does. You know, he's pitching that kind of game where just maybe if he can get a first out in an inning, he might hang in. You know, with a couple of lefties on the mound worthy of note. Toronto this season 7-6 against left-handed starters, while the Yankees have gone 6-9 against starters, 7-12 overall against left-handed pitchers. And Alvaro Espinosa takes on the lefty. David Wells here. It'll be Espinosa, Guerin, and Kelly. One 1-0 is on the inside corner for strike 1 and 1. If Wells can settle it in. Against Wells, left-handers are hitting 250. Right-handers 232 this season. Again, numbers very similar to what he ended up with last year. Espinosa to center field. Devon White. There's one away. John Saunders.
Phillies and the Braves, and Jason Grimsley has done this a few times this year. In fact, 12. Bounces this one in the dirt. The wild pitch with Dave Justice at the plate. Harry Pendleton comes in. The throw is close. Grimsley misses the tag. The hand on the plate. He's in there safely. Now 4-0. Back to Gary and Dave.
Here, Toronto leading New York by a score of 2-0, 1 down, and the catcher Bob Guerin. The third. And you grandparents on the West Coast, hang on. If he stays up long enough, you're going to get to see the kid. Strike one. Bob Guerin approached Dave and I in the clubhouse and gave us a picture of the newly born baby boy, 1 week old, and said, grandparents on the West Coast, maternal grandparents, haven't seen the child yet. That one has popped up, and they're going to see him now. This is cruel and unusual punishment. Hauled in by Carter, and there are 2 down. We are preparing the picture of the baby. So as soon as we have it, we promise we'll get it up for the maternal grandparents.
And paternal, I think.
David Wells, a chance to retire the Yankees in order as Kelly comes to the plate. 3 hits, last 11 at-bats. As usually happens with a rookie, you make a thunderous start, 2 or 3 games, and then suddenly the word starts getting out on you, and things get a little tougher. That's what's happened for Pat Kelly. But he's here to stay. Check swing to Wells. And that's the David Wells we've seen more of this season. He retires the side in order. Toronto up 2-0.
Once again for Miller highlights.
Toronto leading at 2-0. Some of the Yankee fans on hand here tonight. And yes, the crowds are picking up for the Yankees. They're getting some very good publicity from the newspapers here who have been positive about the way the Yankees are performing. They're averaging over 22,000 at home. Little problem out there and getting that door, the extra pad put in place there. Well, this game was moving along so quickly, we really needed a break here, sort of a delay. We pound some nails into left field.
Just part of the American League mystique.
Hey, John.
Help! They'll do anything to delay things for you guys. Just what you needed, a change in equipment. The Mets and the Reds, meanwhile, Tom Browning, speaking of guys who work fast, events Coleman, and Coleman takes it out of there for his first home run of the year. But Browning leads Doc Gooden in this one 3-1. With Tom Browning on the mound, this one could be over before you guys are done 3. Let's get it back to Gary and Dave.
Yeah, rub it in. Go ahead. Both these pitchers have had to take warm-up tosses here because of delays, and it's very cloudy here.
Yes. When I come back in my next life, it's going to be apparent that Bob Tewksbury pitched against Tom Browning in every game.
Every game.
Every game.
In heaven, that's the way it is, you know.
Yeah, and it'll still be 2 hours and 20 minutes.
That's right. Pat Tabler missed the bases loaded. We'll lead it off here. He drew a walk his first time up. A veteran. He comes into the season with a 286 lifetime average. That is a very strong major league average. And Tabler, first ball hitting to third. That is a fair ball, long throw, and he got him. Nice play by Pat Kelly at third base.
Well, the Yankee fans have been waiting for somebody they can get behind, and they love this young guy. He's very scrappy, gets the uniform dirty, just loves to play baseball. He says, hey, I'll play third base. I don't care. I just want to play. He's the 6th guy the Yankees have run out at third base, and he's done a nice job defensively, and they think that down the road he's going to be the second baseman for a long time here. Gets over on the backhanded side, sets the feet, and throws him out.
First pitch is fouled off by Sprague, the Toronto third baseman, who flied out to right field his first time up. Checking to see, Pat Kelly has committed 3 errors thus far in the field in the 15 games played.
Yeah, he's also got a good sense of humor. He and Sachs were laughing it up. Sachs tried to play third base and made 3 errors in 5 games. And Kelly said, loud enough for the reporters to hear, he said, Sachs, I had to get him out of there before he killed somebody. And Sachs said, yeah. He said, I was going to open a butcher shop over there.
Steve said he was pouring concrete down there at third. So he's back at second base. Home sweet home. 1-2 delivered to Sprague off the fists for a souvenir. 1 ball, 2 strikes. He is a second baseman, and if you listen to the Yankee management, they say right now he is as good a defensive second baseman as there is in the league. But they've got to play him at third because they don't have anybody else to play them, which have obviously created some trade rumors about Steve Sachs. Sachs has got a huge long-term contract to deal with, and clubs are not likely to pick that up if the Yankees wanted to go that route.
We keep going back and forth between Sachs and Kelly, and there's a lot of resemblance, not only facially, but kind of built the same way. They look like they're cut out of the same mold.
It's the foot speed of Kelly that has impressed everybody. He apparently, especially around second base on turning 2, is incredibly quick, which gives him great opportunity to cover a lot of ground range-wise as well. 2-2, 1 down, nobody on. And it'll be a full count. Toronto leading it 2-0 in the third inning.
One thing that has helped Pat Kelly is the fact that in college he played shortstop, so it's not as though he hasn't been on that side of the infield.
Quick reaction. That's what you got to have at third. Shortstop Espinosa's got a long throw, and he throws it off the facade and into the seats. And it did go into the seats. So down to second base will go Sprague. It'll be a single and an error on Alvaro Espinosa.
Well, Alvaro does just about everything right. He gets the feet set, but he makes quite a hoist here. Have to check with Federal Express for the billing on this one. Mercy. Don Mattingly, if he were Wilt Chamberlain, might have had a chance.
So he adds to that number. A dubious distinction to lead in that category. The Yankees and Toronto both have struggled defensively. They're down in the bottom 5 defensively in the league as Whitten takes the pitch down low. And that's really surprising for Toronto, because Toronto last season ended up tied with Oakland in fielding percentage for first. They come into tonight's game 10th.
Year before they were right up there too. But Cito Gaston had an interesting comment about it.
There's a silo shot for Guerin. Whitten is gone, 2 away.
Cito said, believe it or not, we may not have good numbers defensively, but he said we have played great defensive baseball. He said we've made some sloppy errors that have not hurt us an awful lot, although they have given up 18 unearned runs. But Cito said his overall defense, with Robbie Alomar at second, Manuel Lee at short, Devon White in center, he said it's been spectacular.
You really can't judge the effect of fielding and errors unless you follow the team day by day. Because as Cito says, some errors can be committed and have no meaning in a game. Line drive, base hit to right field. Big hit for Pat Borders. That's a 2-out RBI single. Crossing the plate is Sprague, and it is a 3-0 lead as Toronto's picked up 1 run in each of the first 3 innings. And Borders is 2 for 2.
Well, in that case, the error hurts the Yankees. Jeff Johnson, though, has not been able to make a pitch the last 2 innings when he really needed to. And, of course, that's always the way you measure pitchers. That's one way of measuring them. He gets a fastball up and out over the plate to Pat Borders, and much like Devon White last inning, instead of trying to pull the ball, he goes right with it.
3-0. 2 down. Runner at first base. And Lee takes the strike on the outside corner. So Borders is 2 for 2 and has his 4th RBI. He's had only 75 at-bats this season. He's on at first base for Lee. Jeff Johnson's 0-1 tapped to third. Kelly. Mattingly able to keep the foot on the bag. But they continue getting the 1 per inning. And as a result, Toronto up 3-0.
ESPN Major League Baseball is brought to you by Michelob Dry Beer. Once you experience the bold taste with no aftertaste, there's no going back. And by Heil. Call Heil.
That one rifled foul down the right field line by Roberto Kelly, the leadoff batter, on David Wells. He singled, then got caught stealing pickoff That's caught stealing slash pickoff. Officially caught stealing, but Wells got him leaning. 0-1. That's taken for the strike. Bottom of the third. Yankees, bases loaded in the first, retired in order in the second.
Would you surmise that Roberto was looking for something other than the fastball down the middle on that pitch?
Yes. That's when he dances on.
When a player takes one right down the heart of the plate behind in the count, you can be sure they were looking off speed or some kind of area other than right down the middle of the dish.
See Roberto Kelly's numbers. They are obviously very strong against the left-hander.
And as a guy who guessed wrong many times, I recognize all the symptoms.
The lunging technique, and he dances again. Wells has come inside a couple of times, down by the feet. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Kelly. Batting at .270 now. He has filled that leadoff spot for the Yankees. Kelly leadoff, Sack second, Mattingly third. Pretty good top, a very good top 3. And you got Moss, Barfield, and usually Hall. That he hits himself in the foot.
Well, Wells was showing him the way.
He found it.
Couple down and in, and then Roberto Spinks went off his Tootsie. We got the 2 Iron Men in baseball last year playing in this game tonight. Roberto Kelly of the Yankees and Joe Carter of the Toronto Blue Jays. Last year they each played 162 games. The only players in baseball to do that. Carter for the Padres, and of course Roberto with the Yankees. Go to the post.
Hard to believe you'd only have 2 doing that, but I guess not hard to believe anymore. 2-2 foul back. With the schedule the way it is and the travel, even though you do it by plane, there's still a lot of early morning arrivals in cities. You can see it's raining.
And there aren't very many guys in the last year of their contracts either.
Yeah, that's right. Last year of the contract, you tend not to want to be taken out. 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Roberto Kelly trying to get on base here to third. That is a foul ball. Played in foul territory by Sprague.
Call Ed's dad and ask him what's with the high tops.
Hey, they're in.
Yeah. I told you, I know how to get them out. Just demand that everybody wear them, and then they'll rebel and say, what, wear those ugly things? Give me a break.
Kelly battling David Wells here, the 2-2. He got a nasty pitch. Came in on the fist. Wells gets his first strikeout of the game, and there's one away. He's now retired the last 5 Yankees faced.
Well, Roberto probably did not want to hack another one down off his left instep. So David Wells stayed down and in on him.
1 down for Sachs. His hit streak now at 7 games with a double that he picked up in the first inning. 11 hits in his last 29 at-bats. And Wells is on for a strike. Tell the slow start he had, despite that great hit streak, some big numbers. He's batting .252 on the season. We have some doubles hitters in this game. Alomar, White, and Carter are 1, 2, and 4 in doubles in the American League. So Toronto's picked up a lot of their runs this season in the 2-bagger. Sachs is on his way towards the top 10. He's got 8 doubles on the season now. 0-2 delivery by Wells. Slap for second. Alomar has got him. And there are 2 down here in the 3rd inning. Yankees coming into this game on the homestand hitting .244 as a team and drawing a lot of walks. 167 walks compared to 105 they had last year at this time. They had picked the offense up in this homestand. They are 5 wins, 3 losses on the stand. What you're seeing right now is what happens when the Yankees start to drop off. Wells has really cooled the bats here in the last 2 innings. Mattingly with the 1 strike count. 2 down, nobody on.
Well, how do they try to work Mattingly? Breaking ball away. And then fastball. Fastball. Fastball all away. Kind of interesting because some people say Mattingly can't turn as well because of the back problems, but teams keep pitching him out there, and Donnie keeps hitting it the opposite way.
And that'll be played by Lee, and that will take care of Mattingly. So another 1-2-3 inning for David Wells, and he's now retired 7 in a row. 3-0 lead here as we've gone through the first 3 innings. And that is fouled off by Glenn Allen Hill. 3-7-0 for Toronto, 0-2-2 for the Yankees. Hill up for the second time, singled in the second inning. That's why he's in there, batting .222 overall. And Jeff Johnson, major league debut for the Yankees. He has walked 1, struck out 2, struggled each inning, giving up a run.
Needs a 1-2-3 inning to get the confidence going. He's given up a run in each of the first 3 innings.
Toronto already has stranded 5, and don't forget this Yankee team, the way they've been playing, they fall behind and then come back.
Ron Hayes of the Philadelphia Phillies, who played in the American League with Cleveland, says one of the differences in the league is the American League pitchers don't get the inside strike. That looked like a pretty good pitch. No call from Tim McClellan, the home plate umpire.
Oh, and whacked into the second deck foul the other way by Glenn Allen Hill. We'll see if Johnson can settle in. He's not got a lot of innings to go because he's thrown so many pitches already in this game. Stump Merrill said before the game they'd keep a count on him, and they didn't want to get him much over 90. If that. He said 80 to 100 depending on how he's pitching. Well, the way he's pitching right now, it's going to be closer to 80. 3-2.
Yanks with an off day tomorrow, so that means the bullpen is definitely available this evening.
3-2 delivery, and Hill pops it up outside of first. No play for Mattingly. The rain, by the way, which came down for just a couple of seconds, has stopped.
Bite your tongue, boy.
And there wasn't much of it.
Thank you very kindly.
Yeah.
The captain, the 10th Yankee captain, Don Mattingly, and well-deserved 10th captain.
Glenn Allen Hill goes back to some rosin on the bat handle. You don't often see a designated hitter batting the number 9 spot in the order, but that's what Cito Gaston has done against the left-hander. Putting Glenn Allen Hill in that spot and putting him down there at the 9th. And there you see the numbers on Johnson already at 56. He tags that one to left field. It is deep. Mullins back looking up. Goodbye, home run. Glenn Allen Hill's 2 for 2, and it's 4-0 Toronto. And I wish it would rain. Jeff Johnson.
Mentioned last time Glenn Allen was up there about his great strength. He just flicked the bat, and that ball jumped out of here in a New York minute. That ball was gone quickly.
3rd home run. 9th RBI for Hill. Nice job.
Compact, quick, and that got out of there rapidly.
So Johnson has given up another one. The home runs coming here in the 3rd inning. A run each inning for Toronto here in the 4th inning. Rather. 2 of the runs in this game are unearned. That one isn't. You see the Blue Jays picking up home runs, but the RBIs coming one at a time. Solo shots. Check swing. He went around on that one. Home plate umpire calling it on Devon White. He is gone. Johnson gets his 3rd strikeout. Finally gets White, who had a couple of his first time up. 1 away. Didn't take long for White to end up back there. And here is Alomar. His single in the 1st continued his hit streak. 11 games now, batting .284 on the season.
Johnson gets good movement now and then on pitches. He took a little off, and that bottom dropped out of that sinker.
Tries to bunt his way on. That's a foul ball. Hit him in the batter's box.
Robbie gets no points for grace on that one. He bunted the ball off on the ball.
The kind of guy who really likes to give himself up the betterment of the team and runners on base. He's a great sacrifice ball player, moving runners around, and he thinks that way as a hitter. 0-2, and that one's taken inside. The number 2 spot, where Cito Gaston likes him in the lineup, especially when they can get Kelly Gruber back. 1-2 towards the gap in left center. Newlands moves over and hauls it in. 2 away here in the 4th inning. John?
Budweiser takes us now to Cleveland's Stadium. The White Sox and the Indians. Carlos Baerga out to right field. Sammy Sosa comes up throwing. James Fisk is there. Sweeps with the tag, but too late. Indians up 1-0 now in the 6th. Back to Gary and Dave.
Chicago opened that series with a victory against Cleveland last night. McDowell winning. 2 down here. Toronto leading by a score of 4-0. Toronto Blue Jays, believe it or not, are 11th in the league in home runs coming into this game. Dave said earlier they are not the home run hitting team they were last year, with Fred McGriff's absence obviously contributing a good deal to that. Toronto's had just 36 home runs this season. It's the Yankees who have used the long ball for their offense. The Yankees are 2nd in home runs this season, even though they are 12th in average. He's taken the over, adding 278. Johnson missing with that one. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Great to have you with us. ESPN's Wednesday Night Baseball from the Bronx and the stadium. Gary Thorne, Dave Campbell. Toronto up by a score of 4-0. Jeff Johnson, his major league debut on the mound for the Yankees against David Wells. He's going after his 7th win.
Just in case you were wondering, there have been 2 teams in the history of Major League Baseball that have scored in all 9 innings. The 1923 Giants and the 1964 Cardinals. The Blue Jays have a 1 spot in innings 1, 2, 3, and 4.
I would have thought that's something that would have happened more often in a game.
Well, first of all, you have to be on the road, because if you score in that many innings, you're not going to bat in the bottom of the 9th. But only 2 times in Major League history.
If you just get that game up there, we'd be able to learn those things, Sean. 2-2 count, 2 down. Johnson's delivery inside. David has a baseball game which is being marketed right now.
Slowly.
Well, being marketed. You had a big meeting today, and it's a very interesting board game, which I think baseball fans would really like.
Thank you. We'll
wish
plug
you
it
success with that.
Thank you. When it gets on the shelf, we'll really plug it.
That's right. 3 and 2 foul off. When it goes to the shelves, we'll be playing it on camera.
In between pitches in a game like this. Let's see. The youngster's lost his chaw, hasn't he? He had a pretty good chaw working there. Maybe he decided that was what was making him ineffective.
Churning his stomach, probably. 3-2 delivery, and he got him. 4 strikeouts for Jeff Johnson. But a leadoff homer by Glenn Allen Hill is added to the Toronto lead. They're up 4-0. Kevin Moss, just 3 hits in his last 20 at-bats. 0 for 1 tonight, leading it off against Wells. Yankees need base runners now. They've only had a couple of hits in the first inning, a leadoff single, and then Sachs followed that with a double. But it did not result in any runs scored as the Yankees left the bases loaded in the first. Wells has retired the side in order in the 2nd and 3rd. 1 ball, 1 strike count on Moss.
Blue Jays with their picket fence offense, all 1s across the board. David Wells, thank you very much for those runs.
Moss takes the pitch up high. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 21 home runs last season. He had 12 of them here at Yankee Stadium and 9 on the road. Only 3 home runs off left-handers last year. 18 off the right side pitchers. And a shot to second. It was caught in the air by Alomar. Right off the blades of grass. 1 away. College World Series continues tonight, 12:30. You will see LSU and Florida. You see the seedings going in tomorrow. How about Creighton? They are exciting, and they are filling up the home stadium. Wichita State and Creighton at 7:30 tomorrow right here on ESPN. The College Baseball World Series continues. Rosenblatt Stadium. What a great story for Creighton. First time they played in it, and that's their home. Fouled off, strike one.
Barfield had a pitch he liked. He was sitting breaking ball, got it, and really had a rip. I saw Jesse sit on a breaking ball against the Red Sox. Danny Darwin a couple of weeks ago, first pitch, and banged it right over the left field fence. He doesn't always look fastball first pitch.
Barfield just out of the top 10 in slugging percentage. He's at .494 coming into the game. Cal Ripken leads the American League in that department. .625 slugging percentage for Ripken. Back on the power drive this season. 0-1 by Wells. Not going to touch that. 0-2. Barfield will strike out a lot. Already gone down 44 times with the strikeout. You see the numbers that contribute to that. Swings with no contact. But when he does,
I don't know what the changing face of baseball, the fact that pitchers with that split finger pitch are more devastating. But you look at guys like Joe DiMaggio, 361 homers, 369 strikeouts. Hank Aaron, low strikeouts for home runs. Babe Ruth never struck out 100 times in a year. Now we got guys that go to the well 160 times, and people say, so what? If they hit 20 home runs a year, who cares?
absolutely right. Part of that, I think, is the fact that baseball fans enjoy the 9-8 ball game more than the 1-0 ball game. And that's what's being marketed and sold, and that's what the teams are looking for. The long ball. 1-2, broken back, ground ball is short. Lee. He's got him, and there are 2 down here in the 4th.
If that's the case, how come the pitchers are making so much money? Talk about a turnaround. Look at David Wells in the month of May. Not too shabby, folks. Blue Jays had great pitching that month, and Wells was the leader in the clubhouse.
His ERA is 9th coming into tonight's game at 2.94. Lifetime record, 31 wins, 22 losses, and 10 saves. Now he is a regular starter. 2 down, the bases are empty. Grounded to short again. Lee is there. And Van Mullins is retired. That's the 3rd consecutive inning that Wells has retired the side in order. The 4-0 lead, and there's that picket fence he was talking about. Johnson, after that home run leading off the last inning, 24-year-old's first major league start. Those are the numbers for him. Well, he'll try it again to get the side out in order. Tabler will lead it off. Pat batting .216. I mentioned his bases loaded numbers. He's just incredible. A career .500 hitter with the bases loaded. There's just something about the bases full that turns this guy on. We're talking big numbers. 41 for 82 with the bases loaded.
That helps his agent get him a job every year, doesn't it?
Jeez.
Pat's been around, but somebody always seems to want that kind of bat.
And right off the glove of Johnson, I hope the glove, he flips it over to Mattingly and gets the out. And he is all right. Tabler retired. John?
Budweiser takes us now to Atlanta, where John Smoltz, trying to protect the lead, facing John Kruk. The high pitch is taken out with 2 aboard, the 3-run home run. It was a 4-0 game. The Braves in front, but the Phillies get 6 in the 5th. Now lead it 6-4. Let's get it back to Gary and Dave.
Johnson is all right.
Helps to field your position. Boy, you talk about the hot corner. Third base is not the hot corner, folks. The pitching mound is.
Alvaro Espinosa on the soft line drive by Ed Sprague. And there are 2 away here in the 5th. But Johnson's got a chance for a very solid inning right here.
When a pitcher finishes delivering, he is about 55 feet or so from home plate. That does not give you much reaction time. Most of the time, the third baseman has at least 90 feet, unless he's playing in the edge of the grass when he has 80. But the real hot corner is not a corner. It's the middle of the diamond.
Mark Whitten to third base. Kelly. And Johnson retires the side in order and in a hurry. Both pitchers settling in here.
ESPN Major League Baseball is brought to you by Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It doesn't get any better than this. And by Peerless, the best-made, best-bat do-it-yourself faucets in America. That's Peerless.
Yankee Stadium, Gary Thorne, Dave Campbell. The Blue Jays up by a score of 4-0. You see the Yankees only 2 hits. Both came in the first inning. First 2 batters face David Wells have the hits. Alvaro Espinosa down low, ball 1.
What do you think about Fernando coming back Friday and goes against the Tigers? The Tigers, with those right-handed batters, like soft toss and lefties.
Find out in a hurry. To right field. Whitten is there. And 1 away. John.
Mets and the Reds in Cincinnati. Eric Davis at the plate. Doc Gooden continues to struggle. The fastball right down the middle. He takes it to right field. O'Neill, who was on second, comes in to score. They try and get Davis going into second. They throw it out into center field. He winds up on third. It's now a 6-4 game in the 5th inning. 6-5 as the Mets add 1 more. Back to Gary and Dave.
Slugfest going there. 4-0 here. All right, you parents out there on the West Coast, hang in now. Here's Guerin. This time the baby is going to be delivered. Strike 1. Bob Guerin, the third's at the plate. That is Bob Guerin, the 4th. And the grandparents on the West Coast not had a chance to see the baby. So there you go. We are happy to bring you Bob Guerin, the 4th. Maybe 2015 Yankee uniform, who knows. Congratulations. Daddy had that picture out in a hurry today, didn't he? Swung on and missed 0-2.
Stopping in the clubhouse, it was glued to his forehead.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Maybe he wants to make a West Coast trip, looking at those numbers.
David Wells missing on that one. A ball and 2 strikes. Ham Guerin. La Mummy. One, 2, 1 away. Base is empty. And Guerin is gone. For Wells, that'll be his 2nd strikeout. 2 down. The 91 French Open. The coverage continues. The women's semifinals. It'll be Celis against Sabatini and Graf against Sanchez Vicaro tomorrow. Note the time, 9 o'clock. Tennis for breakfast right here on ESPN tomorrow at 9.
Why do they play the early round matches there? I mean, it's always the 1, 2, 3, and 4, or 1, 2, 3, and 5 seeds in the women's side.
Women's tennis, the disparity between the top 6 and the rest of the pack has become enormous, become a real problem in women's tennis. Wells gets him to climb the ladder on that one. 2 down. Pat Kelly, 1-1 count.
We'll get leather, but it's a trade.
Well, I don't think it's any secret. They admit it. They are concerned about that. The 1-1 swung on. Wells has really settled in. Ball and 2 strikes.
I think I see some tennis matches thrown.
No. 12 in a row retired by Wells. A 1-2 delivery, and Kelly takes the breaking ball. 2-2.
Mentioned that Galen Cisco, the pitching coach, talked about the tremendous groove Wells was in the last game. Well, they really struggled in the first inning through something like 33 pitches, but since then he has gotten back in that groove big time.
Pitching coach Galen Cisco. 2-2 delivery, and he goes full with it. 3 balls, 2 strikes on the number 9 hitter, Pat Kelly. 0 for 1 in this game, 3 for his last 12, batting at 191. Wells, 2 strikeouts tonight, 40 strikeouts now in 68 innings, and another one. And the Yankees are getting nothing off from David Wells. Again, the side retired in order. No base runner since the first. Jeff Johnson looking for some help. He's given up the 4 runs on 8 hits, walked 1, struck out 4. 2 of the runs unearned. And goes to work here in the top half of the 6th inning on Borders, who's been a problem for him. Singled and scored in the 2nd. Singled, an RBI single in the 3rd. You can see why Borders platoons with Myers in catching duties. 0-1 delivery. Jammed him. 0-2 count.
Pat got off to an ugly start this year with something like 1 for 27, and he even didn't play for a while against left-handers as Greg Myers got off hot, but Borders has regained the role of playing against the southpaws now. Has been hitting much better of late.
Here's the 0-2 delivery. And just gave him one to look at away. Borders wanting no part of it. 1 ball and 2 strikes. What a horrible start, huh? 1-2, broken bat to 3rd. Kelly is there. Over to Don Mattingly, and there's 1 away. Let's check in with John.
Orioles in the Twins, and Dan Gladden has a fan somewhere in center field, so he tries to find that with the baseball. Sends it back to center field. Mike Devereaux using his legs and leaps. Comes up with the ball in center. It's scoreless. Tapani hasn't won in some time, looking for the victory. The scoreless 4th. Back to Gary and Dave.
Kevin Tapani went 0-6 in May. It's the only thing that was holding the Twins back.
Lee's 0 for 2 in this game. A .296 batting average, though, on the season. He has been helped the last 8 games, batting .536.
That'll do it.
Talk about help. He also likes the carpet, which helps out his batting average at home. He's batting .352 at the Dome, .246 in the road.
Jays like the turf. 19-11 on the artificial stuff. 9-13 on the grass. And one of the reasons they are so successful on the turf is their great team speed defensively. You have to have a quick team if you're going to play on turf defensively.
0-2 delivery. Boy, was that off the fist. Mattingly will scoop it up right on the bag, and there are 2 down. One thing over the seasons now, since we've had the artificial carpets, that's been shown, while they help defensive ball players because you get true hops, they also help offensive teams that are ground ball hitting teams. You get a ball going through in a hurry. You just are not able to reach baseballs on the carpet that you can on the grass because the ball skips by so quickly. So it's an advantage for ground ball hitting teams, and most teams that play on the carpets have ground ball hitting teams. Saw St. Louis going to dig up their carpet, and they're talking at least about maybe putting grass in. That one towards left center field. Kelly over, and he's got it. Roberto Kelly, center fielder, hauls it in, and Johnson retires the side in order. That's 9 in a row. Not what the Yankee faithful wanted. A little rain coming down again, 2nd time. Trying to fire up the ball club. Wells has been untouchable since the 1st inning. Top of the order, Roberto Kelly. Kelly reached a single in the 1st. Sachs followed with a double. He then walked Mattingly. Intentionally walked Barfield, a batter later. That has been it. No base runners since the 1st inning for the Yankees. 2 walks, 3 strikeouts for Wells. A run in the 1st, 1 in each of the first 4 innings for Toronto. Tap foul by Kelly, 1 and 2.
Well, the Atlanta Braves drafted a young outfielder by the name of Mike Kelly out of Arizona State. No relation, but a couple of years ago, the Yankees practically begged Atlanta to take Roberto Kelly in a trade, and the Braves said no way. So they finally got a Kelly. He may turn out to be a good player, but they could have had this guy.
And he has turned out to be a good player. Yankee fans trying to get it going, but Wells will shut that off in a hurry. That is his 4th strikeout, 2 in a row.
Only thing about having Roberto Kelly leading off, the man only walked 33 times last year and punched out 148. Those are not the kind of numbers you can have batting leadoff. Wells just nails him with a high piece of gas, and Roberto will exit to the right.
Kelly has struck out twice in this game, 31 times now on the season. David Wells, 4 strikeouts, and he's throwing strikes in the rain. Sachs It's a 92-mile-an-hour fastball he got Kelly on.
David Wells has a perfect game going. Sans the first inning.
Tabler. They're 2 down here in the 6th. Boy, the Yankees are not hitting the ball hard at all off Wells right now.
Remember back in the first inning when I said David Wells had no chance to throw a perfect game? I'm starting to vacillate in that prediction.
He may get his second complete game. Yankee bench hanging in. All they can do is watch David Wells at work right now. 6-1-1 against the Yankees, and the only loss came in his first outing against the Yankees in his career. 2 down, and Don Mattingly will try and get it started. Takes it outside, ball 1. 2 down, bases empty. A 4-0 Toronto lead. And the captain takes it down low. 2 balls, no strikes.
They have done nothing but stay outside with Don Mattingly all evening. Is that rain? Mercy. That is the pitch sequence to Don Mattingly all night long. They are not going to come inside, and he did there, and he turned on it well, but it's a bouncer.
Alomar plays it over to Tabler, and that's it. So the Yankees are still trying to find the number. They cannot get to David Wells, and they are down 4-0. By a score of 4-0, and the pitching we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, David, for Toronto's coming through here again.
Really is. David Wells struggled in the first inning. No Yankee has made base since, so he has really settled in. Jeff Johnson has pitched better in the last couple of innings. A few butterflies. That first major league start is tough.
And the Yankees, a ball club that's come from behind, is going to have to do it again.
Absolutely. They have done it twice in the last couple of weeks. Once a 5-0 deficit, and another time 3-0. So at least there's some life on the bench. They haven't given up the ship yet.
See what will transpire here. As you can see, the rain coming down a little harder. Folks have moved back and gone underneath in the stands now. Devon White, leadoff batter. Tell you one thing for Jeff Johnson, he has learned a lesson early, and that's about sticking with it. 4 left on in the first 2 innings by Toronto. A home run picked up by Glenn Allen Hill in the 4th, but this 24-year-old left-hander in his debut is now retired 9 in a row. Misses outside with that, a ball and 2 strikes.
Well, if he can keep going on this vein, at least it's going to leave a good taste in his mouth, finishing up well. He did not begin well, but Bob Guerin helped nurse him through, and Mark Connor. Stump even took a trip to the mound, so those guys have done their job trying to nurse him through, and Guerin would like to have somebody nurse his thigh right now. He took a foul shot off it.
There you can see shower picking up here. Home-plate umpire Tim McClellan's gone out.
You know what that's for? That's the umpire taking care of the catcher, saying, hey, your catcher's bruised up. I'm just going to be out here, rub up the baseball, stall a little bit. Catchers take care of the umpires when they get a shot, and the umpires vice versa. They're back there without a lot of... They got some protection, but their whole body is not protected. They take some knocks back there.
They have empathy for one another. Pretty good pitch. They check it first. Don Denkinger says he did not go around. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He had him tied up on that pitch. Tim McClellan at home. Don Denkinger at first. Larry McCoy at second. Derwin Merrill at third. Another broken back ground ball. Good jam shot. Kelly makes the play. Good pick by Mattingly. 1 away. John.
In Houston, the Expos' Tom Runnels got the win in his first game as a manager, looking for 2 in a row. The breaking ball, Delano DeShields waits on it, sends it out to left field. Larry Walker and Spike Owen come in to score. 3-0 lead. The Astros have added 1. It's 3-1 in the 4th. Biggio driving in that run. Back to Gary and Dave.
And we wish Buck Rogers well. A very fine baseball man, a good person.
Absolutely, and he did some miracle work up there in Montreal. A lot of times with clubs, everybody just sold down the river, said they were going to finish 6th, and many times he had them in contention going to September.
And they changed ownership last season, and the move seemed inevitable, just a matter of when. As the new ownership really wanted to get their person involved in the managerial role. And now he's the youngest manager in baseball. 2-0 delivery. Check swing ground ball to first. Don Mattingly will play it. Goes to the bag quickly. 2 down. Alomar retired.
Well, as Greg Riddock, manager of the Padres, said, everybody was calling him wondering how can 2 guys from Greeley, Colorado, population 50,000, be 2 of the 26 big league managers. So Greeley, Colorado, you got 2 of your native sons managing in the big leagues right now.
Must be in the water.
Could be. Pretty good water up there in
That's
Colorado.
right. Toronto leading 4-0, out hitting the Yankees 8-2.
Probably not as good as Maine, but
Wow. And Carter swings and misses. Speaking of Maine, Stump's heading home tomorrow. The New York Yankee manager. What are the chances a Yankee manager would come from Maine?
yeah, especially a Yankee manager who grew up hating the Red Sox. That's even more unique.
In Red Sox country. 0-1 count, 2 down. And Carter's going to get a base hit. So with 2 down, Carter delivers the single. He had struck out twice. He's 1 for 4 now. And that is going to be the first base runner for Toronto since the home run by Glenn Allen Hill leading off the 4th inning. 11 in a row retired by Johnson prior to that single by Carter. That is hit number 9 for Toronto. They have all been singles except for the home run. And Pat Tabler 0 for 2 and a walk. You mentioned Tabler's numbers when the bases are loaded. He is also a quality hitter with runners in scoring position this season, batting .316. So been a real clutch hitter for them. He doesn't have one in scoring position here, but he might. Runner goes. Throw down by Guerin at a double clutch. No chance. Stolen base for Carter. He's in scoring position now.
I think Bob was not even going to throw it because Carter had such a tremendous jump, and then all of a sudden he just kind of went through the motions and tossed it down to second in hopes maybe Carter would overrun the base.
9 stolen bases for Carter. He's 9 for 12.
Again, the Jays are doing things that they haven't done in the past. They used to sit back, rely on the long ball. Now they're running, hitting and running, sacrificing, much more daring, trying to manufacture a run. Last year, Toronto only gave up 70 outs, the fewest in the major leagues. That is sacrifice bunts and out stealing bases. Nobody else was really even close to them. But this year, they already have 19 caught stealing and 19 sacrifice bunts.
2 balls, no strikes, 2 down. And that one is fouled back. And the count stays at 2-1 on Tabler now. Toronto Blue Jays last season finished up first in runs, second in hits, and second in home runs. We told you they are well down the list in that department right now. That's why they've changed their game around. Station to station. 2-1, 2 away. Tabler takes Johnson's delivery just outside. And it's a 2-2 count.
It was a good looking pitch, though. 1 ball, 2 strikes. He really teased him. Had good movement.
The main man Stump Merrill looking at his rookie pitcher. The 2-2 up high, and the count is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Eric Plunk has been up in the bullpen, and they are back and talking to the bullpen again. Plunk is ready if needed. That's what the call down was for. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away. They're checking on the count here as the third base coach, Rich Hacker, came down the line. He saw what I saw. The count on the board had been wrong the pitch before last, so he wanted to confirm with home plate umpire Tim McClellan what it was. 3-2, 2 away. Runner at second base. Tabler waiting, and he's gone. Johnson gets his 5th strikeout. And from Yankee Stadium, it's 7th inning stretch time. Rain continues, but very light. Blue Jays continue with that 4-0 lead. David Wells throwing the shutout. Yankees will have Moss, Barfield, and Bam Bam Mullen scheduled up here. Kevin Moss watches it bounce by Borders. Ball 1. Nobody on since the first inning against Wells. Not been bothered by the rain. He's throwing strikes, been getting ahead of the hitters. A double and a single off him in the first. That has been it. Coming off a complete game first of his career in his last outing. Moss backed off. He would have taken a hit by pitch on that if he could have. 2-0.
A lot of people think that's a good thing to do with the New York tabloids.
There's that home run cut, but not that time. 2 balls and 1 strike. It's probably going to be it for Jeff Johnson. Up to 92 pitches. He went in. Congratulated by the coaching staff.
Yeah, the other thing, too, that if that's it for Jeff Johnson, he's going to leave on a high note. He pitched 3 scoreless innings to go out, and at least that'll give him something to look, positive about in the start.
Moss takes the pitch inside. He's ahead on the count now. 3 balls and 1 strike. A chance for him to get on here. Wells has never lost here at Yankee Stadium. 4 wins and a save in the games he has pitched here as a starter and a reliever. And he's ahead here for another. 3-1, 3-2.
David Wells has retired 16 in a row since getting a fly ball from Hensley Mullins in the first inning with the bases loaded, and he has been outstanding since.
Moss is even in walks and strikeouts. 41 and 41. Batting at .266 right now. Three-2 delivery to Kevin Moss. Down the left field line. Carter, a long run into the rain. Look out. It is a foul ball. Carter goes down along with Sprague, the third baseman.
Yeah, I think fortunately for the Jays, as the fans celebrate a souvenir, fortunately for the Jays, nobody got injured on this play. This was down in the corner. Sprague's looking up. Carter at about 215 pounds is coming hard. Those guys both go about 215. Third base umpire Derwood Merrill right out there, and it was the position of the ball. Even though it hit one of their gloves, the position of the ball was in foul territory, and that's the determining factor.
You see how close that line is to the stands. There is virtually no room right there. If you're running, that's no room at all.
Sandy Ambrose knows that corner.
Yeah. Moss with a 3-2 count. Well, he'll stay alive.
Referring, of course, to the 1955 World Series that Brooklyn fans will never forget. World Championship, Johnny Padres winning 2-0. Sandy Ambrose, who went in a defensive switch just the inning before, came up with that fabulous catch off Yogi Berra, turned it into a double play. And the Bums did not have to wait until next year in 1955.
Helmet on the field, down the left field line. Somebody lost their purchase. They'll get it back. 3-2 count, third time. Moss will work. See that rain falling, and that's so it's coming off the front of the batting helmet. Wells warm-blooded. He hasn't got that shirt on underneath. The rest of his teammates do. He's the only one out there bare-armed. He got him. 5 strikeouts now for Wells. 1 away. John?
Phillies and the Braves are playing last team to score wins. Jeff Blauser had 6 runs batted in last night. That a career high. This blasts out another home run and ties the game at 6 apiece. It's now in the 7th inning. He's driven in 7 in the last couple of nights. Back to Gary and Dave.
Well, they go at it here. Toronto and David Wells have the 4-0 lead. He had a career high 9 strikeouts in that complete game win in his last outing against California. Now we will be delayed by a disturbance in the stands. Jesse Barfield with the intentional walk in the first inning. Ground ball out came in the 4th. Not had many chances against Wells, who misses with that. Ball 1.
To look sharp. Da, 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 da. Just inside, folks.
Gosh. See what he has done against Wells' lifetime, and that's not much. Batting .245 on the year. And Barfield's way out in front of that great changeup.
Counting for the knockdowns at the bell is Artie Idella.
Security guards at Yankee Stadium and Shea Stadium earn their money. 1 ball, 1 strike on Barfield. In the series, 3 hits and 9 at-bats. And Wells blows that one by him high and tight. 1 and 2. Not an easy job. Security work. You don't belong there, folks. 1-2 delivery. One bounced on Borders. Barfield held up. Thought about going around. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yankees will stay at home to take on the Texas Rangers in a 3-game series. Toronto Blue Jays are going to stay on the road and have a lot of games at home before the All-Star break. They go to Baltimore for 4 games starting tomorrow. 3-2 count on Barfield. Yankees have not played Texas yet, nor have they played Minnesota. We'll get Texas out of the way starting on Friday with that 3-game series. Barfield fouls it off.
One of the big concerns Toronto has right now is the condition of their great all-star right-hander Dave Stieb. At first they thought it was a little tendonitis of the shoulder, didn't think it'd be much. But in retrospect, they remembered Stieb having a collision with Ernest Wiles out in Oakland where he fell, landed on the elbow and jarred the shoulder. And Stieb tried to throw in the bullpen yesterday and just could not get any momentum going. So they're a little bit more concerned than just a casual case of tendonitis.
That's a big name. 3-2 delivery. Fouls it off again.
Pretty good ratio. Fastball pitcher is going to mix in about 1 out of 4 off speed. Such a fluid motion, and the ball's just popping.
That's consistency right there. 3-2 again, and Barfield turns on it down the left field line. Carter again coming over, and again there'll be no play. Barfield making Wells work here in the bottom of the 7th inning on a 3-2 count with 1 out and nobody on. He's fouled off 4. Stieb had started 9 games, a 4-3 record and a 3.17 earned run average prior to that injury. We should also update the folks on Kelly Gruber. Talking with Kelly before the game, he came out early for batting practice, but he is in real pain. He cannot swing a bat comfortably.
So that comes under the heading of don't believe everything you read. Written reports said Gruber's hitting is fine, but his hand is bad when it affects his fielding. So then you say, why don't they DH him? It's because the hand isn't fine.
It's on the right hand. He's a right-handed hitter, top hand. It is a sprained ligament in the thumb area between the thumb and the index finger, and it's worse than just a pulled ligament. When the ligament pulled on him last season, it pulled a piece of bone with it, and they didn't leave it in a cast long enough, and it has not fully healed. So it's just going to be time. He's trying to get back. It is very frustrating. 3-2 again, and look at this, a base hit to right. Barfield will get extra base as it goes to the wall. Whitten chasing it down, a stand-up double for Jesse Barfield. First Yankee hit since the 1st inning. See if they can keep it going. John?
Expos and the Astros and Tom Runnels, the new manager, must have given them a pop talk, because this one has some pop in it from Delino DeShields. Way back, they moved the fences up there at the Astrodome, but they'd have to move them to the roof. 2-run shot. Expos up 6-1 now in the 5th. Number 7 on the year for DeShields. Let's get it back to you.
Barfield with the Yankees' 3rd hit. That is double number 10. He's at second base. And Bam Bam Meulen's at the plate.
Thought it was a little interesting byplay there. A couple of former teammates, David Wells and Jesse Barfield, and when Barfield hit the one foul down the left field line, you saw David nodding at Barfield, basically saying, Jesse, I'm throwing you fastballs, pal. I'm not going to walk you. Hit it if you can. And Jesse finally did.
A great at-bat, great battle between Wells and Barfield. Mullins taking the strike.
It's also the luxury of having a 4-run lead. If the score is 1-0 with a guy with home run power like Barfield, you probably can't challenge him continually in that situation. But Wells just said, hey, I'm going to make you beat me. In that case, Barfield did.
Towards the hole, Lee gets Mullins at first and holds the runner at second base. And there are now 2 away in the Yankee half of the 7th inning. Don't forget, on Friday night here on ESPN, Clemens back on the mound. Talk about Gooden, who's been struggling. So has Clemens. Canseco and the A's will be the opponents in Game 2 of our Friday night doubleheader. Coming up from Oakland on ESPN Friday night at 10:30, the Red Sox and the A's. Here it is 4-0 at Yankee Stadium. Runner at second base and 2 down. Espinosa to right. Second baseman backing up is Alomar calling for it. And he will put it away. No runs, a 1-out double. Runner left on at second base. Still a shutout for Wells.
ESPN Major League Baseball is brought to you by Smooth Bush Beer and Easy Drinkin' Bush Light. By MasterCard's Master Values Program for summer. By Black & Decker Groom & Edge, the trimmer with a competitive edge. And by No Touch Tire Care. Treat your tires right with No Touch.
Yankee fans in the rain hoping they are down 4-0 as we go to the 8th inning, and we will see Eric Plunk on in relief of Johnson.
Plunk, 6'5", 27-year-old right-hander who had really struggled at the beginning of the season. His numbers are still very ugly when you look at the number of runners per 9 inning, but they're better than they used to be. See, with 39 hits and 21 walks, that's 60 runners in 32 2/3 innings. That's almost 2 runners per inning. And that's not good, but a while back it was much greater than 2 per inning. So he, along with the rest of the Yankee bullpen, has been pitching brilliant baseball, particularly in the last 3 weeks.
Bullpen now has been used in 47 of 49 games. They are averaging 3.2 innings per outing from the pen. Plunk appeared on Monday night. He came on in relief of Tim Leary. There you see the Yankee bullpen numbers. You see how strong they have been in the last dozen games. Plunk's last 5 outings, 12 2/3 innings, 7 hits and 1 earned run. His ERA has gone from 9.90 down to the current.
Well, before we put Jeff Johnson's effort completely to bed, the last 3 to 4 innings he worked, he really started to come inside on the hitters, broke about 5 bats on slow ground balls down to third baseman Pat Kelly. So again, I think it's an outing the youngster can build on. He got that first one behind him. He didn't pitch great, but it certainly wasn't a disaster either.
I agree, Dave. I think he's in the starting rotation for a while. 7 innings, 4 runs, 2 earned, 9 hits, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. And he did come back. Gave up the home run to Glenn Allen Hill in the 4th inning. Unearned run scored in the 1st. RBI single by Borders came in the 3rd, and an RBI by White was in the 2nd inning. Towering fly ball to left center field. Off the bat of Sprague. Center fielder Kelly moves over. 1 down here in the 8th. John?
White Sox in the Indians' 7th inning, 1-0 game, but Ozzie Guillen takes care of that, reaches down, pulls it out to right field, drops it in there. Sammy Sosa is chugging for home. He is in. It's now in the 8th inning. It's tied 1-1. Baerga and Guillen driving in the only runs of the game, using his head. Back to Gary and Dave.
Ozzie Guillen doing a great job this season of driving people home. Strong average with runners on. Mark Whitten up here against Plunk. 1 down, bases empty, 4-0 Toronto lead. That one to left center field. Again, Kelly and Mullins, and it'll be hauled in by Mullins, the left fielder. Mark Whitten retired, 2 down.
Got to give that young man credit. He was out here today at 4 o'clock taking fly balls, shagging him off the bat and off the fungal. He does it every day. One of the coaches for the Yankees, when I take it back, it was Tony Kubek, one of the broadcasters, said that when Mullins was a youngster, he got a crushed cheekbone that affected his depth perception a little bit, and he really has trouble judging fly balls, but through constant work, he thinks maybe he's going to be able to correct it.
Mullins, one of those people the Yankees have on the cusp a little bit. Not quite sure what his future is, what to do with him, where to play him, can he stick?
Yeah, they say he has great potential. He's going to hit 20 to 25 homers if you leave him in all year, but he's also going to strike out 160 times and not play very good defense on top of it. A guy like Rob Deere with Detroit, guy's going to hit 25 home runs and strike out 160 times, but Deere can also help you with the glove.
Tough to put him in any DH role when you've got Moss in that role. Borders, who's hitting 263, up 2-0 count on him. He blasts it to center field. Kelly back. It's a 400-foot out right there on the warning track. So Plunk comes on. 3 fly ball outs as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Well, it's been David Wells going for victory number 7 against 4 losses, shutting out the Yankees on 3 hits. Defensive change made. Rene Gonzalez, formerly with the Baltimore Orioles, has come on for Ed Sprague now. A defensive change at third base for Cito Gaston's Blue Jays. You see the Yankees, what they have done in that 9-3 span, 6 comeback wins, including 4 in their last at-bat. We've got 2 at-bats left here, and we have seen this ball club use the long ball to get back in it. So they're down 4-0. See if Wells is tired at all. Gaston's going to get the bullpen ready just in case as Guerin goes after the first pitch. Dwayne Ward is throwing in the pen. Guerin, Kelly, and Kelly. 8, 9, and 1 in the order for the Yankees. Guerin not getting a good cut at the left-hander Wells. Yankees have stranded only 4, 3 in scoring position, but 3 of those were the bases loaded in the first. You see Guerin's not real happy with the cuts he's getting. There's Dwayne Ward, who started warming up at the beginning of this inning. And the rain again is backed off. No complete games last season, nor in his career. 1 in his last outing, and he's gone the distance for Toronto here tonight. Fouled off. Count 0-2. Cito Gaston looking for his 192nd win as manager of the Toronto Blue Jays. He's 191 and 149 coming into this game tonight.
Should be a lot of guys who would like to line up and play for this guy. He is a player's manager.
Puts a lineup card up and says, go get him. 0-2 delivery. Guerin is gone. That's 6 strikeouts now for Wells. John?
Mets and the Reds, some great defense. Randy Myers on the mound. Greg Jeffries at the plate, takes it out to right center field. Eric Davis reaches and comes up with it. Magadan thought he had no shot at getting it. No, he was not on second. He was on first. They double him up over there between second and third. 7-5 in the 7th. Gary and Dave.
The attempted bunt offered at. They check it first, and yes, he did offer at it. So Pat Kelly takes the strike. 1 down. Toronto up 4-0. Bottom half of the 8th inning. Average has dipped down to 188 now. 0 for 2 in this game. A couple of hits in the series. 2 for 10 against the Toronto Blue Jays. Yankees, if they could come back and win this game, would win their 4th consecutive series, something they have not done since 1986. How long it's been. The third. There's Gonzalez, and he drops the ball. A defensive replacement this inning, and an error. Kelly is on.
Well, I'm sure Rene would offer no excuses here. This is a pretty easy play that he just took his eyes off, started to look up.
First Toronto error. Gaston goes out to talk now with Wells. Top of the order, Kelly. Roberto Kelly coming up. Talking about the Yankees, their record each of the last 5 seasons. They have lost more games than the season before, going after a major league record that they don't want if they were to do it again this year. I don't think they're going to.
Cito just wanted to find out. Wells is at about the 110 pitch mark. Wanted to make sure he still felt strong. Doesn't want to overextend. Again, we're in early June. David Wells figures to be a very prominent part of any stretch run the Jays might make. So he's not going to take any chances, but Wells must have told him the right thing.
Well, let's see if this will start anything for the Yankees now. Kelly up, Sachs to follow, 1 out. We talked about the Yankees trying to fill their starting rotation. Dave mentioned how Dave Stieb is very questionable. They've had a bunch of starters, and they aren't sure who's going to fill the roles. Akers had 3 starts. Frazier's had 1. They've got Key, of course, and Stottlemyre and Wells. Towering fly ball to right center field. He got a lot of it, but he got under it. And it'll be hauled in by Witten, the right fielder. Roberto Kelly retired, 2 down.
Well, for some pitchers, when you start seeing towering drives like that, that might be an indication they're losing a little bit. But again, talking with the Jays people, they say that David Wells basically is a fly ball pitcher. He still has that extra zip. Guys think they're taking good cuts. They do, but they don't quite get the bat head to the right place.
2 down, runner at first base, Sachs. That double came in the first inning, continuing his hit streak into the 7-game territory here tonight.
Sachs may be looking down at Rene Gonzalez. Bunt wouldn't be too bad a play here. Try to get another man on.
Gonzalez saw it and moved a couple of steps in front of the bag on the pitch by Wells.
Yanks need runners. .115 in his last outing. He threw the complete game with 117, but that's remarkable. 115 considering 33 were in the first inning.
As you said, he started getting ahead of hitters after that first inning. That'll keep his pitch count down. Base runner at first, Kelly, Pat Kelly, draws the throw.
Radar gun still reading at 90 plus for David Wells. 91, 92 this inning. That's where he's been 1 inning. I believe it was the 7th. He was in the 93 range.
0-1 the count, 2 away. Yankee fans have not given up. They're in it. And that one to left field, hit hard. Carter in the alleyway, misjudges. That'll fall in. Pat Kelly making the turn at third. He'll come home. The relay throw cut off. It'll be a double and an RBI and a 4-1 Toronto lead.
So most guys, when they pull a ball into the alley in left center, if you're a right-handed batter, the ball will hook back towards the left fielder. Steve Sachs blocks this ball off with his front arm. Doesn't really get the hook spin on it, and Joe Carter's waiting for the ball to come back to him, and it went just the opposite. The ball went away from him. So Carter got a little bit of a misread on it, but Sachs doesn't turn the top hand over, so he isn't going to get that curvature that most hitters have when they pull the ball.
2 doubles tonight for Sachs. He has 9 on the season, 21 RBIs, and the Yankee fans believe this ball club's been doing this homestand. And here's Mattingly. Ronnie fouls it off the other way with 2 down, strike 1.
Well, again, we've showed you a couple of times tonight about how they've been pitching Mattingly away, away, away. A lot of people said because of Mattingly's back problems the last couple of years that he might be vulnerable inside. But most of the clubs have been going away from him. And Donnie just not catching up with it, trying to go the other way. And the hand, yeah, he dislocated his finger a week ago Monday. This is his 2nd game back, and it's obviously still bothering him.
A little finger on the right hand dislocated when he made a head-first slide into second base. Missed 6 games. 0-1 delivery. Check swing, didn't touch him. On to third goes Sachs. They want to check to see if it was fouled off. Home plate umpire says no. Wild pitch.
Well, Borders got down, did everything he should do. He tried to block it with his body, but the ball just caromed away far enough, and Sachs, an alert base runner, moved up 90 feet.
So Mattingly with a chance for an RBI here. 1-1 count, 2 away, 4-1 Jays lead. And Donnie drills the ball to center field. Back on it is Devon White, and he'll haul it in. Fans are up, but Wells wins the battle. A run on a hit and an error, and 1 left on.
Art Cadaret takes over for the Yankees in the 9th inning. Workhorse, he ties Jeff Gray of Boston for the most appearances in the American League, this being his 26th game. Cadaret's numbers, look at the 0 home runs. That is always important to a manager if you know your pitcher's going to keep it in the ballpark.
Cadaret's last outing was Saturday, worked 2 2/3 against Milwaukee. 4 runs charged against him in his last 2 appearances, after he had allowed only 1 in the previous 16 appearances. We'll see what he does in this one. He's going to try and hold him. Yankees get 1 more shot at it as we are in the 9th inning. Gary Thorne, Dave Campbell on our ESPN Wednesday Night Baseball. A rubber game of this 3-game series. And Lee will take it down low. 0 for 3 tonight, a .294 batting average on the season. Lee, a switch hitter, 357 from the right side coming into this one, and 276 left. Great start. Only 1 team's come back on him.
Hello, Dwayne Ward. Hello, Tom Henke. Greatly responsible for those numbers. I think the Terminator is getting loose in the Jays pen, by the way.
The real stoppers.
The Canadian Goose, Tom Henke.
Center field. Kelly is there. Lee is retired, 1 away. John?
White Sox and the Indians. Don Paul on in relief. Mike Huff at the plate, hitting .168 with runners on base. 4th lowest in the American League, but he delivers this time. Drops it into center field. Mark Lewis comes in to score to break the tie, and Chicago continues to struggle this year. Down 2-1. Back to Gary and Dave.
1 out here in the 9th inning, and a comebacker. Cadaret off the bat of Glenn Allen Hill. And there are 2 away in the 9th. Plunk worked an inning, getting the 3 he faced. Jeff Johnson, the pitcher of record, his major league debut. Merrill on the right, pitcher coach Connor on the left. Can't be disappointed in the debut tonight. Will be disappointed in the result, barring a comeback.
A lot made out of the trade that sent Tony Fernandez and Fred McGriff to San Diego for Roberto Alomar and Joe Carter, and certainly a lot should be made out of it. Great trade. But this guy, Devon White, came over from the California Angels, and he has played excellent baseball for the Jays. 25 RBIs, hitting in the leadoff spot, good on-base percentage, and a great defensive player.
Only 1 error committed this season by White, who has that great speed in the outfield as well as running bases. Batting .288. 1-1 delivery by Cadaret is fouled back.
Devon had a great year for the Angels in '87, but that was the year a lot of guys had great years. He had 24 homers, knocked in 87 runs, hit over .280. It's been kind of a downward spiral since for Devon White, but he seems to have gotten his act together in Toronto.
He found a home where he's going to be comfortable. He leads the team in runs scored. 1 tonight, 32 on the season. That's what you want out of your leadoff man. Taken down low, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Toronto Blue Jays really struggled in the leadoff spot last season. It was a position where they weren't getting anybody on base. And so they were looking for a leadoff hitter. And Devon White has filled that role, and they've got another one. If they had to put Roberto Alomar into that spot, he too can be a great leadoff hitter. And he's on with a walk. Cadaret gives up the walk to White with 2 down. There you see Blue Jays leadoff spot, what they did with it last season and the difference this year.
94 runs not bad, especially with the 306 on base percentage, but with those mashers coming in behind last year with McGriff and Bell and Gruber, really the 94 runs not all that good.
They had the third lowest on base percentage for leadoff batters in the league last season. White is trying to shove that up a good deal in that group of standings.
I think we'll get a chance to see Mr. Cataray's move here because it's a definite running situation. 2 outs, 3-run lead. Robbie Alomar not a potential home run threat, and Cataray is going to go to work on Devon.
White picked up a stolen base in the first inning. He has 9 on the season. Has been caught 5 times. Two down, runner at first. Alomar trying to move him around on Cataray. Three throws over to first base. John Saunders keeping us updated as we've rolled along here tonight. He'll be along with Baseball Tonight. And this one is concluded here at Yankee Stadium. Bring you up to date on all the baseball action in the major leagues on this Wednesday.
Good job by Cataray on that pitch. He held the runner close, delivered quickly to his catcher Bob Guerin, and threw it in a perfect spot. Can't do too much better than that.
0-1 count, 2 down, 9th inning. Fouled off. Toronto up 4-1. Trying to add to it right here.
I think Bob Guerin may go for the old pitch out here. He's had a tough night. The fans have been on him.
Guerin came in having thrown out 6 of 17.
Yankees were great last year with Matty Noakes and Bob Guerin. They threw out 44%. That was tops in the big leagues. Pitchers gave them a chance, and they did the job.
Alomar again fouling it off. Cataray 0-2 count on him. Be an opportunity here for Toronto. Pick up some ground on the Red Sox. They are a half game ahead starting tonight's play. Red Sox a West Coast swing. Blue Jays in first place with a 28-24 mark. Runner goes. 0-2 pitch outside. Guerin had trouble getting it out of the glove. Second stolen base of the night for Devon White. And that'll be his 10th of the season.
Baseball, a game of rhythm, and right now Bob Guerin is not in good sync, neither defensively or offensively. Sometimes the game is easy, everything goes well. Other times it is a real struggle. Bobby's got everything in sight, but he just can't get it out on the first grab. And with a guy like Devon White, you might as well take a big bite out of it.
Get one chance. 1-2 delivery now to Alomar with the runner in scoring position. The check swing to Sachs. And Mattingly. And that'll do it. So no runs, a base runner left on. Yankees get their final shot. Blue Jays with a 4-1 lead. David Wells could be 7-4 if they hang on to it in the bottom of the 9th, and he earned it.
Case could be made over the last month with David Wells right along with Scott Erickson of the Minnesota Twins as the top 2 pitchers in the American League during that period. Wells wins this one. He will be 6-1 with an ERA of around 1.65 during that span. And it's the Canadian Goose, Tom Henke, on the DL for over a month with a groin problem. He went down to Dunedin, Florida State League, pitched a couple of games in rehab, has come back 6 for 6 in save opportunities, fastball, forkball, and both of them are outstanding pitches.
So the right-hander on the mound now, Mel Hall around the bat rack. Kevin Moss will lead it off. Moss, Barfield, and Mullins due up. Yankees down by 3. He'll probably be batting for Bam Bam.
Yanks have left-handers Mel Hall, who you're looking at, Pat Sheridan and Matty Noakes, and switch hitter Troy Lovulo. Tough name to say.
Moss waiting, and the pitch is a strike by Henke. 33-year-old last season. 32 saves, 6th best in the American League, had 32 saves in 38 opportunities. Now has picked up 160 career saves with Texas and Toronto. 1 ball, 1 strike on Moss. And Henke's got the opportunity here to add to it. 4-1 game, Yankees. Best chance first inning when they got the bases loaded and left it that way and didn't score a run. The 1-1 pitch. And Moss is behind on the count, 1-2.
Well, when Tom Henke was disabled for over a month, Dwayne Ward stepped in, and you see what he did. He was a savior for the Blue Jays. Cito Gaston said he knew Ward could do it all along. Henke's his main man, though, so Ward goes back to the setup role now.
One ball, 2 strike count. And Moss just touches that one up and fouls it straight back to hold the count of the ball in 2 strikes.
I think he got the fork ball up just a little. Kevin cut down his swing trying to make contact.
Victory here, and Toronto would get close to 500 on the road. They are 12-14 on the road this season. 1-2 delivery, and Kevin Moss is gone. Henke gets the strikeout. 1 away. John?
Mets and the Reds. Barry Larkin at the plate. Randy Myers on second base and being extremely aggressive here. Back up the middle. Coleman is coming home, but the throw is cut off. But Randall Kay doesn't care. He's going in face first anyway. It's 10-5. Remember all the scores and the highlights following the game with Gary Miller and Peter Gammons on Baseball Tonight. Back to you.
He can roll around the dirt. He's happy as heck, isn't he, huh? Randall Kay. Barfield swings and misses. Henke ahead with 1 away. Jesse extended his hit streak to 7 games with a double that he picked up in the 7th inning. See, the average still low, 250. So many of these Yankees had slow starts at the plate. Yankees ended up going 6-11 in April, improved to 14-13 in May. If they lose here, they'll be 2-3 in June.
See if Henke takes him up the ladder. First pitch was about waist high. Second one about shoulder high. Barfield hadn't touched it yet. A lot of pitches would go right up the ladder, go about nose high with this one.
Barfield fights it off.
Didn't get it high enough.
Tried. 44 strikeouts this season by Barfield. On deck now, Bam Bam Meulen's due up. Mel Hall has come out to pinch hit. Straight away on Barfield, the 0-2 delivery, and Henke burns it inside on him. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So tough to get the bat on the ball against Henke. Moves the ball around well, great control, a lot of movement, great speed. Got him. And the Yankees are down to their final out, and Henke's got a chance to strike the side out here in the 9th inning. 2 down.
Now, Tom Henke throughout his career has averaged nearly 11 strikeouts per 9 innings, and that's tops for anybody with 500 innings in the major leagues. Other guys bearing down on him. Once Rob Dibble reaches that 500 inning plateau, his numbers are higher.
2 down, nobody on. Jays leading it by a score of 4-1. Bottom of the 9th inning, and here is Mel Hall, who's been lacing it of late to center field. White is there, and this ball game is over. Wells goes 7-4. The rookie Jeff Johnson takes the loss in his major league debut. Henke gets the save. He's 7 for 7.
Well played ball game after the first inning. We really had a long one, but it was only 1-0 after 1 as both teams threatened early on. David Wells really settled in, did not allow another base runner until the 7th inning. Young Jeff Johnson pitched well after the 3rd inning, but all in all, the Jays get a win.
So Toronto may pick some ground up as Cito Gaston's club comes away with a victory. Our final, Toronto 4, New York 1. For Dave Campbell and all of our crew, this is Gary Thorne. Thanks for joining us. Now back to Gary Miller.